it to myself. I have no explanation. Twisted games and tricks all tangled up and wasted. Double down in the bus, sucked in the faking patience. Haunted dreams awake, still love to be so hated. I did it to myself. 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 Boat it up and lose the key. I've got no motivation, got no will to breathe. Growing more and more complacent. A train wreck at my feet. This monster I've created, running out of steam, but I can't fight the craving. So on and on, I train alone. The pain had slipped away. I did it to myself. 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 I did it to myself.
Perfect. Just finished the show prep in time. We are good to go. I don't know if you noticed, show 63, I cracked. I'm wearing a hat. I already feel weird about it. But at the same time, it's a theme night here tonight, as you can see
It's Christmas
over
time.
here.
You're going to save on hair gel expenses, right?
Yeah, exactly. I gotta cut down on the hair expenses and bulk up on the budget for the presents. Absolutely,
Exactly.
Max. Good call. Max, welcome in. What's going on? You good?
Oh, fantastic, buddy. Fantastic. Rams won a game that they had no business winning last night. No, sorry. They had no business winning before the snap of the football. But as soon as it did, Aaron Donald locked in, proved that he's still capable of being Defensive Player of the Year. Rams earned a victory last night when they needed it. So, I'm feeling pretty good on a Tuesday night action. I'm feeling real good.
Can't be too mad about that.
Yep.
I see that you are donning your Nashville Predators gear tonight, and there's been a bunch of NHL news that we are going to unfortunately get to early on in the show here, so we'll let you know about that right away. There has been some new COVID outbreaks, and it's scaring some people, Max, and we'll get into that in just a second as we get going here. We always want to make sure we welcome in our crew, the squad. You guys are coming in here, checking in. Over on YouTube and on Facebook, along with Twitter. We see that Joe from Ontario is tuning in. Joe Fuller. Thanks, Joe, for tuning in over on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button over there. Hit that subscribe button, Joe. And we're going to have a good time here tonight. Joe is one of my TikTok guys. He's one of my TikTok boys, you might say. He's a good dude. Over on Facebook, I see Dad. Rod Monroe's checking in.
Hey,
tuning
Dad.
in from North Anglia. I don't know what that means.
Somewhere exotic, it sounds.
Yeah, he probably just Googled crazy places, and that's where he said tonight. Hey, Max, how about those Preds? Second in the Central. Wow.
Looking good. Looking good.
Yeah, but Max doesn't like talking about early standings this early in the season, so We'll just skip that one.
Sir, we're not early anymore.
It's
a
not
little
early?
late to be early, right? We talked about that on our live stream with the Hockey Podcast Network. It's getting a little bit too
Speaking
late
of that,
to be early.
Isha's checking in. Says, "What's up, boys?" Isha, well, thanks for tuning in, man.
Heck yeah.
We're having a good time over here already. Katie Fleury, hey boys, how's our bet going? Now, what was the bet exactly with Katie? We bet that the Islanders were going to come out of it, and she said that they weren't, right?
Yeah, we probably should have put some conditions on this bet, considering that one of the about 26 updates that we got today was that Matt Barzal is now in COVID protocol. So, yeah, the Islanders are up against it.
Along
it's not
with
looking so good.
Brad Marchand from the Boston Bruins, along with Devon Taves from the Avalanche.
Half the Predators.
I was going to say a bunch of Predators are now
Carolina
getting involved.
Hurricanes.
The Hurricanes and
Calgary
Wild game got
Flames.
postponed. The Flames postponed a whole week.
It's a lot of not goodness.
A little worried about all that. Donna Berger's checking in as well, and Adam Schultz has given us his complimentary wave. So we got that one in there. I'm going to hit like and share right now on the show. So we hope that everybody else will consider liking and sharing and making sure you send in those comments throughout the show. Ask us anything. There you go. Look at that. The Hulkster
Look at
is
Hulk,
back.
okay.
He got his secondary shirt because last week he ripped through his.
Right.
And we were like, well, Hulk, you can't just keep ripping through every shirt. We have a very limited amount.
And again, it's Christmas season. Like, it takes a while to ship things.
It's
these
busy.
days. It just is what it is.
So we sent him another one and we told him not to rip it. So
we probably should just send him 2 next time.
we probably should.
We probably should just send him 2 if we're really thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll hang on. Hopefully he just takes my advice and doesn't rip through it this time.
That'd be great. That'd be good.
Please, Hulk. Anyways, send us anything throughout the night. If you have questions, comments, topics that you want to talk about, anything, send
We
it in the
can't
comments.
promise that we're going to get to all of them because it's kind of a jam-packed show.
There's a lot going on, and special guests tonight include, again, there is a reason we have so much Blue Jays stuff going on tonight. Ross Stripling of the Toronto Blue Jays is making his third appearance on the SquadCast. We don't have very many members of the third-timer
Hey, Clark,
club.
you know how many strikes it takes to get a strikeout?
3.
3.
And we're going to have more on striking things out
Yeah.
Coming up during Ross's interview.
Giving
Stay
everybody
tuned.
the double bird tonight, as it were.
Yeah, the double, 2 birds, exactly.
Yeah.
We always have 2 birds.
I thought there was going to be more of a reaction there.
There's 4 birds if you think about it. We always have 2 birds.
Oh,
The flamingos.
that's right.
There you
Those
go.
flamingos, though.
Keeping it there. Craig Hack is saying Ilya is back. Yay, go Leafs. He's talking about Ilya Mikheyev. Craig, keep me up to date as the game goes on. I'm hoping that it starts on time.
Nice that you have a game.
That's what I'm
tonight.
saying.
Yeah.
Like, I hope they don't
Yeah.
cancel it after warm-ups or something crazy. So we'll have to keep an eye
Yeah.
on the scores throughout the evening. Let's get into the topics here because the first one is the NHL and the Calgary Flames. Don't say Calgary. I learned that lesson. They don't like it when you say Calgary. Don't do it. I said it on TikTok once in my comment section. Maybe I should do it more often. My comment section
What do you
blew
call
up.
it then? Calgary?
Well, I was doing Seattle Kraken mock drafts, team by team, and I did Calgary. And I was saying it as I got into the introduction of the video, I was like out of breath when I got to the part where I was going to say Calgary. So I said Gary Flames.
Yeah.
So like I separated the syllables, and my comment section just went nuts. So don't say
You
Calgary.
blew it. Don't say it.
Say
Don't do
Calgary.
that.
Calgary.
It's Calgary.
The Flames are extinguished for a week due to a team COVID outbreak. Games are postponed through at least Thursday as the NHL as a whole is going through some stuff when it comes to this new wave of, I think it's Omicron.
Sounds like an Avengers villain.
That's what everyone's saying. Yeah, the Decepticon virus.
Transformers, but either way.
What did you say?
I said Avengers.
Either
Two
way.
different franchises. We're going to talk Marvel a little later with Steven Ellis,
Imagine if
though,
Transformers and Avengers merged as a series. That'd be something. Who would win? Probably the Avengers.
it's funny. I can't even
Probably the
I
gods of the
can't even
universe.
knock the take because the way that movies work and the way that the studios work, it's not out of the
It's
question.
not out of the question.
There's nothing that's
Imagine
out of the
Michael
question.
Bay directing that movie, though. Whew. Anyways, that's all there really is to it. There is some outbreaks, like we said earlier. The Predators are getting in some issues. The Minnesota Wild and Carolina Hurricanes game tonight got postponed for this exact reason. The Oilers are sitting out a couple players tonight. Ryan McLeod was one of them today, and Coach Dave Tippett actually is not going to be on the bench tonight for the Oilers as well. The Leafs are somehow getting out of this right now scot-free. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. They haven't had one. So I don't know what they're doing right and the other teams aren't. I know that Carolina played Calgary. Calgary had the COVID outbreak. Now Carolina's having issues. And I think they also played Vancouver in that stretch. And Vancouver's having issues. So, if it's going to be a quick spreader, I don't know. We're going to have to keep an eye on this.
Yeah. It's
very
a developing
much.
story. Let's just say you don't want to shut down Twitter for too long.
No, yeah, keep
Because, you got
refreshing.
updates flying.
One other thing too, along with this, is that NHL players going to the Olympics.
Oh, wow. You got Calgary in your head?
Yeah, what did I do there?
Calgary and you went Olympics.
Olympics.
I mean, you could say it like that.
Olympics.
Hey, there we go. It works. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
NHL players going to the Olympics, also in jeopardy with the communication of what is going to happen if they have to quarantine. Now, this isn't a guarantee, of course, but if they get it and they have to quarantine, they have to stay in China for 5 weeks before they
3 to
leave.
5 weeks, yeah.
And,
No,
and
it's
in
not
that
good.
5 weeks, if you're an NHL player and you're not playing NHL games, you do not get paid.
Yeah.
That is part of the agreement. So I think there's a lot of players who are hesitating.
And, like, there's people have families and stuff,
Families,
too. Like, there's
That's-
hockey,
yes, there's
but-
also that, yes. But you
Yeah.
also are stuck in a room. So I think during those 5 weeks, you're probably not going to be skating. And your playoffs are coming up right around the corner for certain teams.
Yeah.
Most teams have a chance. So
We reference it every show, but on the Jeff Merrick Show, produced by Jeff Merrick, starring Jeff Merrick, directed by Jeff Merrick.
Sometimes
he said
featuring
that,
Elliot
He
Friedman.
said, sometimes featuring Elliot Friedman. That's right.
Yep.
They really should just merge the two shows, but either way, they're just superstars.
It
across
kind of
the
is
board.
merged without actually
It's
being merged.
without
Yeah,
being
yeah, yeah.
merged. Yeah, exactly. Either way,
Yeah.
I guess Merrick was saying that he had spoken with an NHL general manager that is an advocate of the Olympics, and he was saying that at this point, unfortunately, it's selfish of the players if they decide to go at this point. That was at least the
Selfish if
sentiment
they
from
decide
this
to go.
one general manager, because again, like you said, if you test positive and with as fast of a spreader as this new variant is, man, oh man, it could spell some bad things. And this isn't Olympic Committee rules. This is Chinese law. If they go to Beijing and they're not cleared by local authorities, that's why the timetable is stretched out so long here, right? Like they're dealing with things that are bigger than the league, and unfortunately, could really put kind of the final nail in the coffin of if the NHL players are going to be going to the Olympics. So
Yeah, a little worrisome. Craig Ballard's checking in over on YouTube. Maxwell, the Rams' arch is similar to last season's TB Bucks, so I'm excited for you. I'm assuming he meant like story arc.
I like it. Yeah. I'll follow that. I'll follow that.
Then
all
he
live long
deleted
day.
one of his comments. I don't know what he said, but he deleted it. And then he said, Ross Stripling on Today, yet Max is not wearing any Jays gear. He did not understand the assignment.
Craig, I understood the assignment. I brought my Jays.
The white one is his.
I brought it.
For the record, Stripling with 3 appearances on the SquadCast, but I have 4, says Craig. Craig has 4
That's true.
appearances.
That's true.
So he's still
That's right.
got the record. I think
right.
he's got the record. Yeah, nobody else has come on here more than
I don't
Craig.
think we got 4. No, Nick Alberga maybe with 4.
Nick, I think, has only done 3. I think he's part of the
Possibly.
3-timer club.
Possibly. Yeah.
He was one of our first ones, and then we had him on before the crazy short season, and then we had him on once more recently. So I think he's a 3-timer.
Right.
Derek Bona, Sheffy Bones says, "Hello, SquadCast family. Where is the like button? Search around and hit that like button over on YouTube. It should be under the video. Keep an eye out.
Looks like this. Looks like a big thumbs
Yeah, it looks
up.
like a thumbs up.
Maybe it's the other way.
Unfortunately,
on YouTube,
like
I don't know.
TikTok, Sheffy Bones, you can't just keep tapping the screen and give us like 1,000 likes like you can on TikTok. It's only one. You only have one to give, and if you choose to,
But that
we'd
one,
appreciate it.
that one is worth 1,000.
Exactly. Joe Fuller, Joe from Ontario, again, that's his TikTok handle, says 3 to 5 weeks remaining in quarantine doesn't sound fun, especially if you're a family man. And didn't the IIHF create a $5 million fund to assist players who missed time because of COVID? I think they have, but I think the kind
That
of
could
the
run out.
consensus,
That could run out with 3 players.
yeah, the consensus is that 5 weeks, that's 15% of a season. And then I think they did the math on a guy like, I can't remember whose contract they used, but if it's an $8 million, $9 million contract or something,
Yeah.
which a lot of these guys are probably going to be close to, they're all elite players.
Yep.
That's like $1.5 million or something crazy, 15% to $1.2 million.
Yeah, eaten up in a little over 3 players.
Even if you're $5 million, 15% is what, $750,000. So
Exactly.
like it's still going to be a
But
large.
this is a
chunk.
sports show, not a
And
math show, so.
No, you're right. And on top of that, though, I think the consensus is like, yeah, but when has the IIHF or like any Olympic committee ever been like on time and not fraudulent or not
very true.
not what's the word I'm looking for?
Shady in their dealings.
Yeah, there's another
Deceptive.
word. There's another word I'm
we
thinking
already
of.
used
Corrupt.
Decepticon. Corrupt.
Thank you.
Yes.
I always forget that word. Jordan, I forgot corrupt
My
last
brain
week
hurts.
too.
That's a lot of big words in the opening segment.
Let's settle it
warm
down
up
and
for the big words.
let's calm it down. Myron's checking in over on Facebook. Good evening, SquadCast gang. What is going on, Myron? I hope you're doing well, buddy. I know you've been busy lately. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to move on now. The NFL playoff picture is starting to shape up with Max's I was going to say St. Louis, Max's LA Rams victory over the Arizona Cardinals on Monday night.
What color is the number on Cooper Kupp's jersey?
That is black. That's an inside scoop from our live stream the other night during the Predators Rangers. I was just like skimming through what the jerseys looked like. On my TV, the Predators were wearing white jerseys with what looked like dark trim, and I said black. Just my brain functioned that way, and Max blew me up in just making fun of me because it's navy.
Dude, isn't your handle on like TikTok like NHL producer Clark? I'm the NHL guy. You don't know it's Navy. Yeah,
that's
it's
exactly
Navy.
what my handle is on TikTok.
Well, exactly.
NHL producer Clark. I'm the NHL guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. There you go.
That's it. Anyways, the question remains after Week 14: who truly is the best NFL team as we head into Week 15? The Cardinals probably at the time they were 10-2. I think they had the best record in the league.
Yep.
Before this past week, Rams beat them.
Share it with the
Rams
Packers.
are now what 9-4. 9-4. Cardinals are 10-3. They still have the best record, but
Packers
I think
10-3 as well.
Packers are 10-3. Okay, so I think there's consensus that the Packers are really coming on strong, and a couple other teams like the Patriots, for example, too, are really coming on strong.
Yeah, the friggin' Patriots. I thought we were done with those guys for a couple of years.
Darren DuPont's top 5, I believe, were the Packers at the top. I think the Rams were right up there. I can't remember who 3 was, and then it was Patriots, and then it was Cardinals. I think 3 would have been Buccaneers probably. So keep that in mind as we go into Week 15.
It's a very
later in the show.
race.
We got our Week 15 NFL picks later in the show. So stick around for the end of the show. We have a busy one coming up. As I mentioned, Ross Stripling and the Hockey News is Steven Ellis. We're going to be previewing the World Junior Hockey Championship and talking a little NHL as well because he's got his finger on the pulse of all of it. Speaking of the World Junior Hockey Championship, Team Canada has announced their 25-man roster for the upcoming World Junior Hockey Championship. How many times can I say that in like a minute?
One.
This is the roster here. Now, one thing that I noticed today was that the day one practice lines were out, and off the top of my head, it was Perfetti on the top line, with, now, top of my head, Gunther and who was it? This is gonna be a bad.
Don't strain your brain.
Not gonna do it.
It's all good.
Bottom line
Day
is
one of practice rosters.
Ken Johnson, I don't think was practicing.
Yep.
And Connor Bedard was the 13th forward. So
that's not going to last long.
I was going to say, after his performance against the University All-Star team, so he got like 7 points in 2 or 3 games. Pretty sure he's going to move up the lineup.
Yeah.
I know that the second line was centered by Mason McTavish, and I know the third line was centered by Ridley Gregg. I believe the
strong up the middle of this group.
Stankoven, WHL Kamloops Blazers, was second line right winger. I remember that. I know Jake Neighbors and Justin Sordiff were the wingers on the third line, both WHL guys. And so it's going to be a good showing for the WHL this year. Also, goaltenders Sebastian Kosa and Dylan Garand are 2 of the best goalies in the WHL this year. So that's a good sign. And the defenseman, Caden Gooley, potentially the captain. We'll talk to Steven Ellis about that coming up right away. We'll get more on the World Junior team and the other teams with Steven Ellis later in the show. But Connor Bedard is one of the kids we are going to be watching because we are very excited about this kid. Ton of potential, and to see him playing with some elite players is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going backwards in our script now because I skipped it, but very minimal / no news whatsoever on the MLB lockout as we will take a deeper dive into this, hopefully with Blue Jays pitcher Ross Stripling.
Maybe there'll be some news after our interview with Ross.
I mean, yeah, there could be. Obviously, we're very excited to have Ross back on, and he's coming on in about 15 minutes. He gave me a thumbs up on text right as we were coming live to air.
Good stuff.
He should be good to go. I know that he might be putting his kid to bed, his kid Jackson. Adorable kid, by the way. We were creeping your Instagram, Ross. Hope you don't mind. But we're going to be talking about his family life a little bit tonight, too, as he's in the off-season now. Nicely in the off-season now. A few months, actually, into it now. A couple months. I shouldn't say a few months. But next up, in other World Junior news, going back to that, Islanders prospect. I don't have a picture for this one, Jordan. Islanders prospect Atu Ratti has been placed in COVID protocol and will not be able to compete for Team Finland at this year's event. Now, one thing that we talked about, I remember with Joel Henderson, like a year ago, was Atu Ratti fell in the draft, and he actually predicted that was going to happen. If you remember, he was on the show with us, and we were talking about that draft class, and Ratti was always, predicted to go very high, and he said that he was going to be a guy who might slip, and he did. He was a second-round pick. If he slipped that much, he was going to be a top 5 at one point, slipped all the way to the second round. Islanders snagged him up, just tested for positive for COVID. right on the day that they were going to fly into Canada for the tournament.
Yep.
Like, how unfortunate is that timing?
Super unfortunate.
He did get replaced by Harvinen, I think is the kid's name. I'm not sure where. I don't think he's drafted yet or anything. So he's going to take his place. And
tough blow for Finland, as he was expected to be one of their main contributors, though.
And speaking of Joel Henderson and Finland and all these other countries, hopefully next week on the 21st, on Tuesday, we're going to have a bit of a World Junior preview show with Joel. We'll break down some of the players. Got to talk to Joel, I guess. We should probably do that before we announce the show.
Good idea. Usually, aren't you a guest booker? Isn't that usually how that
I just haven't talked to Joel in a couple days. I usually talk to him pretty often. I haven't talked to him in a couple days.
So, Joel, here's the deal. We committed you. We already told our
Joel,
audience
you
you're going
in?
to be on the 21st. So, clear your schedule.
I already kind of told everyone you're going to do it.
Just totally spoke for his schedule.
Craig
Good
Ballard's
stuff.
checking in. He says Cooper Kupp has been epic this season for the Rams.
Cooper Kupp's been absolutely amazing. Another 13 catches last night. Oh,
And
guys,
this one's a good one for you, Max.
that-
Maybe you can take a minute on this.
A minute?
What about Luke Evangelista, London's OHL's leading goal scorer, I believe?
Yeah.
Why didn't he make the team?
I don't know. Why didn't Hendrix Lapierre, who already has NHL experience,
true.
why didn't he make the team, right?
That's
Like,
true.
at the end of the day, it's Team Canada.
That's
right?
a question
This is-
for Steven. Write it down. Why didn't Hendrix Lapierre? Honestly,
You can write it down.
Well, I'm talking.
You're giving me my minute. Anyways,
Are you
Luke
done?
Evangelista.
I'll write it down.
Luke Evangelista. He's a hell of a prospect for the Predators. 40 points in, 20 games in the OHL this year for the London Knights. The captain. It's Team Canada. It's, if not one of the, maybe the hardest team to make in all of
It's the hardest team to make.
It's the hardest team to make.
I mean,
exactly.
let's say Team USA is getting there. Russia, interesting note on Russia, they didn't take a single North American skater this year. So Russian
Very
players who are
interesting, yeah.
playing in North America, every player from Team Russia is playing somewhere in
Do you
Russia.
think that has something to do with COVID, or is that just maybe the way that
Feels
they're
like a
doing
political
things, right?
thing. But that's for another show, maybe.
Sergei Zubov's their head coach, correct?
I forgot to check. I don't know. Yes, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah, very interesting. Anyways, a political decision, whatever
Now,
it may be.
What I will say about politics and Russian hockey is, wouldn't it be a power move if they want Russian kids to stay in Russia and play there instead of coming over here, to say, hey, listen, this is a sign. You're not going to play on the World Junior team unless you stay with us and stay over here. That seems like a Russian thing to do. Just going to say it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to keep going or if that's going to be trying. Because usually, think back, Neil Yakupov was one of the top players for
Right.
Russia that one year. Grigorenko, I'm pretty sure, played in the OHL or Q. I think he
yeah,
played in Q.
Grigorenko sounds right.
There's you can look back, a lot of players have played in the OH or the CHL in general, or in leagues over here. I think even a couple have played NCAA over the years. So like that's been a thing, and it seems like it's kind of retracting back to not being a thing, which I find interesting because there was a couple players, good players, that were left off of Team Russia this year with that in mind. So just something to think about. As we move on, one interesting little note that just happened: Steph Curry broke Ray Allen's all-time NBA three-pointers record with his, this is a crazy number, 2,974th three-pointer. He's 33. He's going to play for a long time still. Steph Curry could be a guy who plays until he's 50, honestly. He's that type of player. He's a, sleek, quick guy. He's never going to lose his shot. And like Ray Allen, he played until his at least late 30s, if not into his 40s. If you're just going to be a shooter, you can be a shooter. Play a little defense. You don't have to worry about that. Just somebody's going to pay you to shoot threes.
Yeah.
Especially Steph Curry. So you could honestly, this record,
one of one.
This could be. Now here's what yours. This is. I'll read what you wrote. Is this going to be Gretzky's point record by the time Curry hangs him up? Conservatively, if he does play another 5 years, this is Max's words. He will have at least another 1,000 to his already owned record. So this could be a record that never gets broken, like you said. The craziest thing to me when I think back to Gretzky's record of points is take away his assists or take away his goals, and he still leads the entire NHL in all-time points.
Yeah. Guy had to be
it's nuts.
split up as two different people in fantasy hockey. That's when
how good he was.
That's when you know that a guy's good.
Yeah. Back in the day when he would score 92 goals or whatever it was and 130 assists or whatever it was. You'd have his goals and his his assists, and then you'd draft Mario Lemieux next. Right? Like that's how good kind of player he is. Let's look at Sid Sixero's tweet, because this is kind of the tone that we've been noticing a lot today, especially, but this last week. If you want to put that one up, Jordan. Enjoy sports while you can. He posted this morning. This screenshot was from minutes ago. It's getting some traction.
Yep.
And it's a little worrisome because, Max, like we've already talked about it in several different aspects so far tonight. But hockey, there has been, I believe, 23 in the last 36 hours positive COVID cases. The NFL, I want to say there was 35. I want to say in the last 2 days.
Rams just added 3 more today too.
Rams added, and like significant names, a couple of them too.
Yep.
The Browns, I know, got kind of messed up a little bit. I know there's a few teams that I think the Saints got a few. So it's not just centralized with a couple of teams. No. It's all over, and it's a couple of guys on a bunch of different teams, which is almost scarier in a sense. So that's not good. And I think the NBA's had a couple in the last little bit too. So, we're shout out to the Hockey Podcast Network. We did a stream with them on Sunday, the Predators Rangers, as I mentioned earlier. Awesome stream, by the way, super fun. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. I know we've already had a couple people from that stream checking in on the show here tonight. So thank you for that. And we are trying to do another one on Sunday, and we're thinking of doing the Leafs and Kraken game. We're going to stream that one on that channel. So just now you know our plans. But me and Max are then saying, like, is there going to even be games by Sunday?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, knock on wood, that there will be, and we can do that game. But it's kind of getting to that point where, I've seen so many tweets today where this feels like March of 2020 all over again.
Yeah, without question, right? I mean, it's Sid Seixeiro's cryptic words, but at the same time, right, he doesn't put it out if he doesn't believe it. And I mean, with everything that we saw across Twitter, across social media, all the reports, all the articles that we saw today from a number of people, there was nothing positive. And it was all related to this virus. It's all related to kind of the I guess, feelings that, like you said, Clark, we had in March of, 2020, 2019. The years are all starting to blur together at this point.
I heard something about Jimmy Howard the other day, that he played his last season in 2019, 2020. And I was like, wasn't that like 5 years ago that he played his last season? It was then? Didn't
Well, there's that
right.
meme going around. Isn't it crazy to think that we're less than 2 weeks away from 2022, but we all still haven't processed 2019 yet?
Yeah,
like it's
honestly.
very, very true from a mental standpoint. And I mean, at the end of the day, sports are sports, and it's people's lives that really is the heart of the matter here. So at the end of the day, hopefully everybody that has tested positive is feeling okay. At least that's the other side of what I have heard, is that or read, I guess I should say, haven't heard, but it's a lot of mild symptoms, as it were to say. It's not saying that anybody's been taken to hospital with severe conditions, severe issues. So, I mean, knock on wood that continues. And at the end of the day, sports are sports. There's always going to be days on the calendar to make them up. But, all the best to those who have been affected by it. And with regards to sports fans, like I said, we'll just wait and see, as it were. But as Sid said, enjoy them while you can, because we may be headed for another few delays in some of the ones that we love.
Yeah, and I hope I'm not like eating my words when I say this, but from what I have heard of this new spreading virus, what is it called? Variant. I hate that we have to talk about this.
I know, right?
But from what I've heard is that it spreads fast, it spreads easy, but it's not as serious in terms of strength. And again, I hope I'm not.
We're not doctors. We just play them on TV.
Yeah. I don't even do that very well.
No, we don't.
Either way, Myron's checking in on Facebook, as I mentioned earlier, and he says, "Oh yeah, go make sure you go follow at NHL Producer Clark. I'm the NHL guy on TikTok." I think you meant like on my bio. It says that at the top or something, right? Because I did have something similar. I
just mentioned very saltily as you didn't know what color the Preds were, and you've stared at this thing at least 15 of the 60 shows that we've done.
It looks, if you were to look at that with like from a distance, you might
need to be tested
it's
for
dark.
colorblindness,
Therefore, dark equals black in my brain. Sometimes happens.
You might need to be tested for colorblindness.
Sorry.
Again, we're not doctors. We just play them on TV. But
my bad. Jordan, you let me know if Ross he just logged in. Well, why don't we take a break? Yep. Let's get to him right away. So, Jordan, we're going to hit a break here. When we come back from break, make sure right now you're putting in your questions. If you have any baseball questions, off-season questions, whatever you have for Ross Stripling, put it in now, and we might get to it. Now's the time. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll see you in about 2.5 minutes, and we'll be right back.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Peterson Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Peterson Show today.
Everyday hoop life.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. IKS Live, the proud producer of The Rod Peterson Show and The Recovery Hour. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of time. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
All right, we're back. We were just having a great conversation in the break, and we're about to have another one because our first guest tonight joins us from the great state of Texas as he enters the exclusive Three-Timers Club on the SquadCast. Ross Stripling, hello. Welcome to the show again. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for taking some time to join us tonight.
Of course, guys. Happy holidays. Thanks for having me back.
We were just saying in the break how we've had you join us in 2 hotels, but never at your house. So you got the nice setup behind you and everything. It looks like you guys are ready for Christmas over there.
Yeah, we're trying to be festive. You know, I got a about to be 10-month-old, so it'll be his first Christmas. So trying to bring in the spirit and have a good time. He obviously won't have any clue what's going on or remember it whatsoever, but we will. So it's fun. Yeah, we got the tree set up right there. You can see the passport. It's hard to point. I'm like mirrored in this picture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. We're proud of it.
How is his fastball looking? How's the little guy's fastball looking?
It's coming along. Yeah, we I just pepper him with balls all day long. Like just keep feeding it to him, and he'll kind of pick it up and shake it, and then every now and then let one rip. But for the most part, he just kind of shakes it, drops it, picks up another one. So we're working on it, but it's gotten a lot better.
Is he a lefty or a righty? Is that a determined factor yet?
It is not, man. I would have bet my life that he was going to be left-handed through the first 6 months of his life. I mean, he did everything with his left hand, and now he's kind of like half and half. So it seems like we're trending in the wrong direction there. There's only one lefty in the whole family, my wife's dad. So we're hoping his genes pass through strongly, but it's trending more towards righty at the moment.
I have a regret in life. And my nephew growing up, he tended to throw with his left hand, but I noticed that sometimes he was a little bit more natural with his right, so I told him to change. And I was like, I'm looking back now, he's in grade 12. He's about to graduate, but I was like, man, if he would have been a lefty, maybe who knows?
And that was the end of your pitching coach career.
And that's when, yeah. So, Ross, before we get to baseball talk, obviously we have some crazy stuff to talk to you about with that, and some off-season stuff. We have some questions about that. I'm wondering how close you're paying attention to the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl with your alma mater, Texas A&M Aggies, taking on Wake Forest Demon Deacons down in, I think it's Jacksonville, coming up on New Year's Eve. You paying attention to that?
Sounds like you know better than me, man. This.
I Googled it before the show.
This was the this was the year the Texas A&M Aggies were coming in like top 10, ready to make a real run. We beat Bama, somehow, and then we couldn't beat LSU to finish the season. So we're going to kind of be in a halfway decent bowl against a good Wake Forest team, but our quarterback just hit the transfer portal, so we're not even going to have our quarterback. I think our running back just committed to the NFL along with our best defensive lineman. Like, we're going to be playing pretty shorthanded. So, I can't say take the Aggies in the spread or anything like that at this point because I just don't know what kind of team we're going to run out there.
They are the underdogs. They're 8-4 this year. Wake Forest was 10-3, so it's going to be an interesting game. I just saw that the Longhorns of Texas just committed, I think, like the top quarterback available prospect. So that they could be.
Yeah, that kid went to my high school.
Oh, there you go. That kid, the kid who committed.
Yeah, so he went to my high school. He left a year early. Went to Ohio State. Basically, just took him for everything they had at Ohio State for a year. Said I'm out. Went to the transfer portal. Now back to UT Austin.
Clever. Interesting. Okay, well there you go. So it could be a big couple years for the Texas Longhorns coming up. Max,
you know what? And that doesn't bother me. Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. Everyone always tries to get me all fired up about UT sports. I think the world is better when Texas is good at sports, and I think they should play the Aggies every year in every sport. I'd rather watch the Longhorns be good than the Baylor Bears or the Oklahoma Sooners any day. And my mom went to UT. My dad went to A&M. I've been a split household forever. So I always think bring it on, Texas Longhorns. It's just more fun when they're good.
Yeah, without question, Ross. And I mean, I guess we'll lay off the pigskin. We'll get to the baseball talk, as it were. But it's been a little while since we've gotten a chance to catch up. I mean, the season finished up, obviously an incredible one. 91-71 finish for the team, literally coming down to the last day of the season. I know I can speak from the fan base's perspective about how exciting it was right to the bitter end. But what was that last month of the season like for you guys, obviously going through it? And obviously a bit of a tough way that it ended, but did it lead to some good messages kind of going into this off season? I guess what was that message from Charlie, from Ross, from everybody about what to expect and hopefully a 2022?
Jeez, yeah.
Sure, yeah, loaded question right there. I feel like I could talk about this for a half hour. Yeah,
you're up the floor, Ross. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is my show now. Thanks, guys. That last month was amazing, man. It really was. It was a ton of fun. Obviously, to be back in Toronto playing. They opened it up to more fans there at the end when those games really mattered. So, everyone was really hyped up, having a good time, enjoying those baseball games, which was really fun to see for us. Like you said, we came up a game short, and it was in a devastating way, man. Like the Yankees, I think, walked them off right as we won. And then we get inside right when Devers hits a 3-run homer for Boston to basically seal our fate. Yeah. It was heartbreaking, man. It really was, because we knew how good of a team we had, and we knew what kind of damage we could have done if we just got in. And we came up a game short, man. If you gave us another week, we were probably in there, no doubt, right? I mean, we were playing really good baseball, and we just ran out of time. And a crazy year where we moved 3 times and had 3 home stadiums and all that went into it that you guys already know about. To come up a game short, it was heartbreaking. And then the message, from Charlie and Atkins and Pete Walker and all the guys, Simeon, Springer, the leaders of our team, all said words as well. And everyone said great things. Just, man, nobody hold your head down after this season. Everybody hold it high, because what we went through, no team has ever had to go through in the hardest division in baseball. And we were right there and competed every day and had some unbelievable talent on the field, and some of the awards that guys obviously reeled in were well deserved, and it was just amazing to be a part of, man. I said all the time that some of the teams I was in LA were as talented and as good as any team you could possibly be on, and this Blue Jays team could have competed with those teams any day, and I truly believe that. So I wish we could have played 81 home games in Toronto. We probably would have won 60 of them. I mean, we were just played so good there. Long story short there, man, it was heartbreaking. It really was.
So we saw an interesting playoff, obviously, after including the Braves with that magical run at the end. If I recall, you guys had your way with the Braves this season. Does that make you guys feel any type of way, knowing that you guys had a good time against the Braves this year?
Well, I'll tell you what, personally it does, because I pitched well against them. I think one of them was, I was in Atlanta when I talked to you guys about to face them like the next day or so, and that's when I was really struggling. Yeah. So I firmly believe that anytime you guys ask me to come on this show, I'm going to come on because I think only good things happen right afterwards, right? Because that's, that's when I kind of turn my season around. So, but yeah, definitely. We played good teams well all year. We played well against our division. We played well against all the teams above 500. I don't know what our record is. I could be spitballing, but I feel like we stepped up to the plate in big games against good teams and took care of business. So, to say that we played well against the World Series winner is kind of like one of those bittersweet things, like whatever, they went and did it and we were watching from our couches. But, it was a really talented team and we played them well.
Mm-hmm. Since that happened, there's been a lot of things happening, both with free agency and then obviously in the lockout, and we'll get to the lockout in a sec. But the Jays added some new teammates for you. Kevin Gausman being one, Yimi Garcia being the other. I think there was maybe a couple other kind of shiftier moves made. But how do you feel about Gausman stepping into the locker room? I know obviously Robbie Ray is out, so that's a big change. But Gausman's made a couple of strides lately in his career, in the last couple of years. So how do you feel about him coming into the locker room?
I love it. I mean, we lock up Barrios long term. That guy is
that's another one.
A workhorse, as good as anybody. He really is, year in and year out. So to lock him up is a huge deal. And then to get Gausman, who's been really as good as anybody the last 2 seasons. What he's done in San Francisco has been elite. He's got probably the best splitter in baseball. Like if you're talking changeup splitter, his might be the very best. It's certainly up there. His ability to keep guys off balance is as good as anyone. And so, to have him now in our rotation that's already really strong is a huge advantage for us. Like I said, it's a really hard division. So you got to have a strong rotation. And we certainly have that at the moment. And then, Yimi Garcia is a guy that I played with in 2013 AA. I mean, I came up the Dodgers with him. I've known him forever. He's like one of the first guys that I remember having like a spin rate fastball where he would throw 94 kind of down the middle or like middle up, and guys would miss it by a foot. And you're like, what is this guy doing? Like, how do I do this? He was one of the first guys I ever saw to do that. And he's obviously gone on to have a great career. I think basically pitched in every playoff game for the Astros. So he's a workhorse as well. Devastating on righties. So he'll be a huge asset for our bullpen. So yeah, I mean, it's fun to be a part of a team like the Blue Jays that are going out, getting assets and trying to win baseball games right now, which is part of the lockout and part of the reason we're in the situation we're in is there's a lot of teams not doing that. But I've been very lucky in my whole career to be on a team that wants to win. And obviously the Blue Jays are, continuing to do that.
And that's super exciting. And hopefully when this, all this lockout stuff is done, we can see a little bit more and we can see how the team's going to shape up as we go into the season, because it should be an exciting one, as we've all kind of talked about already. With the lockout, was this something that, was it looming for you all season long? And when the season ended, were you kind of like in the back of your mind thinking, this is probably going to happen? Or did it kind of surprise you a little bit? Did it take you off guard a little bit? How did that all kind of go down in your brain?
Well, it's kind of in the middle, I would say. I technically was a part of the last CBA, but I was a rookie, and I was like an alternate rep to Justin Turner for the Dodgers, so I wasn't that involved. I am our union rep for the Blue Jays, so I was on every call. And throughout the season, they kind of started in April and May, and there not a lot going on, and then we'd take big breaks, and you kind of hop back on and do some bargaining, take some breaks. And really, through the whole season, we made zero progress, right? So you kind of understood that, like, okay, we got a lot to accomplish here in a short amount of time. And as the calls really didn't pick up and we weren't starting to, basically get anywhere for the month of November, it was, the writing was kind of on the wall. It really was. I think that it was pretty obvious that we were going to have a work stoppage. And, it's a shame that it came to that. And I wish we could have gotten some more stuff done in Dallas when the two sides were able to get together, but it just didn't work out that way, man. We're adamant about the things that we want to change, and we're steadfast and we're strong as a group. And, we're ready to make the game better for us, for fans, for everyone involved, in our opinion. So, like I said, it's a bummer that right now we don't know when the game's going to pick back up. Hopefully it's on time. But like I said, our feet are firmly in the ground, ready to fight this thing and make sure that, it comes out the way that it should.
And all the power to you on that. And I mean, obviously it's a complex issue. I know you can't sit here and go through like every detail with us. I mean, we just could record a whole different show, but is there a couple that stand out as ones that you would really like to see change? Maybe not like even the bigger ones necessarily, but a couple of things that as a player yourself and been through the ranks of, minor leagues and everything, is there a couple that you'd really like to see changed?
Yeah, of course. I mean, off the top of my head, among many things that we're trying to implement, we want teams to win. Like, players want to win. We want to win every game that we play. So it would be frustrating to be a part of a team or an organization that doesn't want to win. That's kind of counterintuitive. We want every team to go out there and want to win every game that they play. And I think that would be the best product on the field. 2, the best players in the world need to be out there. Right? No more service time manipulation, no more keeping Vladdy Jr. in the minor leagues longer than he should, that kind of stuff. If you're ready for the big leagues, you should be in the big leagues. This is Major League Baseball. These are the best players in the world, and we want them on the field. So that's a big part of it as well. And then the economic stuff, there's a lot there for sure. You talk about raising the minimum or getting guys paid earlier, all sorts of stuff that can go into that one. We'll see how that shakes up. That's definitely the biggest battle between the two sides, no doubt about it. But, man, at the end of the day, we want to incentivize teams to win, and we want to have the best players on the field for 162 games every year. And that's going to be the best product that we can give fans. And when fans are fired up about baseball, they come to games, they watch on TV, and that makes everything better. So we feel like if we can solve those two things, the product gets better automatically.
Yeah, Ross, and I mean, again, as Clark alluded to, right, it's definitely we're a tandem that stands with the players on this side of the ledger anyways, and it's been awesome to see the united front. Obviously, we've seen the things going on with Twitter, and again, like the united front that the players are presenting, it's great to see, and again, hopefully works out in a good resolve in the end. But, I mean, we saw Commissioner Manfred's statement to the fans anyways, his address to the fans, the big nice white paper with the logo of the league on it, and, I mean, obviously it wasn't received all that well. I'm interested, though, from the player's perspective, if you had some sort of, I guess, State of the Union, couple of sentence message to pass along to the fans, what would it be?
Oh, good question, man. Yeah, put me on the spot right there with that one. I think it's hang with us, a little. Yeah, for real, got me. Hang with us. Obviously, we don't want this to be the way our game is headed. The 2020 season got fought and dragged through the mud and fought on, through social media and through media outlets. I don't think either side is happy with the way that went or proud of that. We don't want this to be like that again. But at the end of the day, we understand that the game needs to be changed a little bit. We need to update some things. We need to upgrade some things. So, fans, please hang with us. We want to be on the field. We want to play, and we want to play on time. But at some point, you got to fight for what you believe in. And we're at that point right now. And you got to make the game better for those behind you. The ones that went on strike in 1994, man, they didn't play a World Series. And they implemented some things that are still in our game today. Like they did that for us 30 years later. I'm thinking those guys saying thank you so much for fighting for us. In 30 years, maybe players will be saying the same thing about this generation. So, hang with us, please, fans. We want to be out there, and it will happen soon. And I hope this doesn't get too ugly, but we're ready to get back and play the game we all love.
Well, Ross for Union Rep, I mean, that you kind of nailed it. That's a great message to pass along. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you ask Blue Jays fans and Montreal Expos fans how they felt about not playing in 1994.
Absolutely.
Because I know they still hold a little bit of a grudge about that one. Also, just a note for you, Ross. You guys were playing at a 59-win pace in Toronto. Just so you're aware of that. San Francisco led the MLB with 56 home wins. So that was a pretty good pace. That's from our resident statistician, Craig Ballard. Shout out to Craig. He's all over that stuff. And also from Craig, he has a question for you. Now, this is about your off-season regiment. Now, this is going into kind of your training schedule for an off-season. But with the lockout obviously happening and, certain dates probably to... you probably have circled on your calendar, especially as our union rep, of like, hey, we need to either have something done by this date or, we have to push it back, or we have to do this and we have to push it back. How much is that? Like, what is there a date, I guess, that you're looking forward to that you say it's going to legitimately throw a wrench in your off-season training regimen? Because I'm sure that you have kind of, okay, I'm going to take 2 months and do this, and then I'm going to take 2 months and progress to this. Or how does your off-season work? Is there some sort of deadlines that you're looking at as could change your off-season?
As of now, the answer would be no, but that could happen quickly and change to a yes. I mean, right now, I think if you were to ask 99% of us, we're staying the course. We're ready to be out of town the middle of February and starting spring training and playing in games, late February, early March, and getting ready for a season. And I think that's the mentality you have to have right now. If it gets to be the first week of February and we're not making any progress, I don't know that I'd necessarily change much, because I do think it's going to be kind of a shotgun start, right? If this bleeds into, think about like the 2020 season, right? Where it was kind of all of a sudden we got a 60-game season, let's get going, and everyone did spring training at their big league sites. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility. That could happen again. And the guys that showed up that had kept working during that downtime and showed up already ready to throw 3 innings, had faced some live hitters, had taken some live at bats, those guys had a real advantage, and those guys, really excelled in that 60-game season. So I believe that. I think get ready as if the season's starting on time, and if it doesn't, then you just kind of keep progressing forward as if the season was going. I'm facing hitters. I live in Houston. I'm lucky to live in a city that doesn't get cold. I got tons of big league talent around me, minor league talent around me. We can get together and go to a field and play a pickup game. And that way, if they say, hey, season's on, spring training's in 4 days, you're like, all right, I'm ready. Put me on a plane. So I think that's the mentality you got to have.
Can you guys make Sandlot 3 and potentially you guys could star in it, and just like get a documentary maker to come out and just film you guys playing on some like elementary school playground or something? I think that'd be some great content if you guys are looking for content.
I agree completely. I will say, obviously a tough name in the media right now for a variety of ways, but Trevor Bauer does things like that. And actually get some big league talent, and they like go play in the desert and have like live at bats and stuff. It's actually pretty amazing to watch. But yeah, I agree. If we could get, just the guys I work out with, like Anthony Rendon, Kevin Biggio, George Springer, Tyler Duffy's a pitcher, Tyler Naquin's a hitter. Like, we got some big league talent around. We could go put a nice little. We could put a little game together, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to watch.
Max, I don't know if you know this, but like Texas is kind of a hotbed for baseball.
Kind of a big deal for baseball. A little bit different than up here.
Baseball.
Yeah, up here in Saskatchewan, we maybe get about 3.5, 4 months of good ball. That's about it.
We play our baseball on hockey rinks in the winter here.
Pretty much.
Take us through a typical day, I guess, of a pitcher, because I know pitchers train a lot differently than hitters. Take us through a typical day of an off season for a pitcher, especially because I know, like I said, I feel like from my memory of training as a pitcher back in the day, you'd go through different stages kind of an off season. You want to do some strength building, and then you want to take it into endurance, and then et cetera, et cetera. What is a typical day like for you?
Wait, you did strength building?
I wasn't very good at it. That's why I'm sitting here. That's why I'm sitting here in Ross's.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, exactly.
Great question. So I took 6 weeks off from throwing right when I got home, right? So that's really just downtime, kind of getting bigger and stronger, but really letting the arm rest. I do that. There's some guys that throw year round. I've never had that philosophy, and I'm going to stick with what's worked for me. Now that I'm full blown throwing, I'll give you kind of what my day looks like now. I wake up with my son around 7:30. We got about 2 hours to kind of just kick it father-son time and have our mornings together. And then I leave the house around 9:30 to go play catch. And right now I'm long tossing twice a week, playing catch 5, maybe 6 times a week, but long tossing twice a week. Today, for instance, I got out to 250 feet, which is letting it eat pretty good. And then from there, we make our way to the gym and work out. And, now is the time to get as big and as strong as you can, man, because in 162 games, you wear down. And there's not a lot of time where you can really get in the gym and be like, hey, my body feels great. I'm going to try and set a PR today. I'm going to try and squat, trap bar, bench, whatever, the guy does the most that I can today. That doesn't happen in a 162 game season. Your body won't survive. So now is where you just get absolutely as big, strong, fast, powerful as you can. And so that's, the weight room stuff that I'm doing. And then from there, you'll condition. I do physical therapy twice a week. So I see a physical therapist. We work on hip mobility, lower back stuff. This has been a problem of mine for my whole career. Shoulder, forearm, like just making sure the body's. I'm gonna be 32 going in the season, man. So making sure the body's in a good spot, and usually walking back in the door around 2, maybe a little after 2, and then have the rest of the afternoon to be a dad and enjoy the family time while I'm home. And it's still 80 degrees in Houston, so we're out and about having a good time. So it's the long days, but they're not crazy. I would say that's, pretty normal for a big league pitcher, I imagine.
So, Ross, now that Robbie's out in Seattle, you mentioned getting bigger and stronger. Is this your time? Is this the opportunity to maybe cinch the jersey up an inch? Maybe, I guess, decrease the pant size half a length? Is that the plan for 2022, hopefully?
You know what? I'm not even sure if Robbie actually decreased the size of his jersey or if he just got that much bigger. I really never asked. I'm gonna stick with what I've been rocking my career. I don't think I can paint him on quite as tight as Robbie did.
Oh man! Well, if you did, you'd have an instant Twitter account because somebody would make one for you.
Yeah.
So speaking of, we're having fun now. Speaking of, we talked to you last time. I think it was last time you were on, or maybe the first time you were on, about your chicken strip nickname. Obviously, when you were in LA, and of course that's kind of transitioned throughout the rest of your career. But we had a different idea that if the chicken strip sponsorship stuff doesn't work out for you,
we've been campaigning, Ross. We must let you know we have done a little bit of work on it, but.
We've been talking about this as maybe another avenue you can look at. I know in Canada, there's the beef industry is big. And you're in Texas, obviously the beef industry is big down there too. So we were thinking, I don't know, Jordan, can you throw that picture up? Every time you took the mound, there could be a special at the concession, the Ross Stripling. Now, I think we could probably do a better photo shoot with you.
Graphic design is our passion, Ross, as you can see.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. You were wearing a towel
Whose
in the
arms
picture.
are those? That's somebody's.
They're Robbie's.
Somebody's flexing some muscle there. Yeah, for real.
We were going to say you might have to work out a little bit more to match that picture, but we thought maybe every time you took the mound, there could be a strip loin special or something at the there it is. Strikeout hunger. I don't know. It sounds like it's a pretty good. It seemed like a fit. If you guys want to talk to that with your agent, I mean, feel free.
And once you guys get a deal done, Ross, we'll talk royalties later. It's all good.
The Ross Stripling. I don't know.
I'm a big fan. I've never seen that before. Strip loin. That's super creative. So if whoever came up with that, please give them my props. I think that's amazing. Yeah, well done. I mean, I don't know. A sirloin's not exactly cheap. Like a chicken tender or chicken strip is. So it's going to be kind of a pricey day at the stadium. But I do like where our head's at, no doubt.
Premium products for premium guys,
Exactly.
Like, we don't want to go cheap on this.
There we go. We got the tagline. We got everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, Max, you wanted to fire some Christmas questions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you said, Ross, right? It's feeling festive. It's that time of year, less than 2 weeks out till Christmas now. My goodness, I can't believe it. Yeah. But what does a Christmas look like in the Stripling household? Was there traditions that you guys follow? Is there something that you're maybe going to implement new this year, obviously, with the new young one? What does a Christmas look like in Ross Stripling's household?
Great question, man. I grew up with two boys, me and my brother. So Christmas was great, but now that I'm married and my wife has two sisters, Christmas in a girl's household is much different. So I realized we didn't have these crazy Christmases growing up. It was very much wake up and do the Santa thing when I was young, which was great. And then you kind of go to the grandparents' house, right? And eat some good food and just be a family. Which is definitely what my wife's family does too, but it's just at such a much bigger level. But it's so much fun. And, what's crazy in the baseball life, man, we're gone for 8 months out of the year, right? So you try and see everyone for holidays, which can be a lot. And luckily my son does great in cars, but, we're going to be cruising around, man. We got 3 or 4 stops to make throughout the state to see various family members, both on my side and my wife's side. So that'll be fun. It's kind of like having 4 Christmases, but it's a lot to take in just a couple of days, no doubt. But as far as traditions, man, not so much. We still love to do stockings. I don't think we'll ever outgrow stockings. Both sides love stockings. Both grandmothers love giving stockings, so that's always fun. But it's we don't cook the same food every year or anything like that. So maybe we're kind of keep it simple, just family time and enjoy it.
That's awesome. No, and I guess, and pardon the Christmas pun here, but to wrap things up, once again, thank you very much for your time tonight, Ross. But let's do a little bit more a festive rapid fire, as it were. I got a few for you to round out here, and we'll see what we can accomplish. But your favorite all-time Christmas movie?
I like Elf. I love it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it never gets old.
Favorite food dish or item to overindulge in that Coach Pete Walker might not approve of?
Ooh, good question.
I didn't read that part of the question in the script. Coach Pete.
I'm stuck on Thanksgiving foods. I don't know, what are traditional Christmas
some of
foods?
it carries over.
Yeah,
honestly,
it really does. It's kind of
Yeah.
a double up on turkey sometimes,
Yeah.
mashed potatoes and gravy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, mashed potatoes are always the one that I go back for seconds. Always, like get a healthy one. Make sure everyone get like a healthy portion. Make sure everyone gets some, and then I'll go soak up the rest.
Nice. So one teammate from another country who you'd enjoy spending Christmas with to try out some of their traditions and, I guess, cultural festivities.
Great question. It's Hunjin, no doubt. I've been telling Hunjin since I was a rookie with the Dodgers, and he was over there too, that I'm one day I'm just going to show up in Seoul, South Korea, and I'm just going to hang out with him for a week, and he's not going to have a choice. So hopefully it's over Christmas time, and he can show me their traditions and what they do. There's no doubt in my mind they do it big, and I would love to be a part of that. That'd be a blast.
That's a great answer. Favorite Christmas present you've ever received?
Yeah, that's easy. I woke up to a ping pong table one time, and that just started like instant love. I mean, I love playing ping pong. I can basically compete with everyone besides Clayton Kershaw. I don't even know if I've ever beat him. He waxes me every time, but I'm a pretty good ping pong player. But I remember walking down the stairs when I was young, and me and my brother saw that, and I think it's, for the next 2 years of our life, every night before bed, we're just hammering ping pong balls at each other. Good for hand-eye, right? Good for PFPs. The skills translate, right? Exactly. It's great. Yeah. I got one more for you, Ross, and I think we'll let you go for the night. But
I got one more fan question.
Oh, sorry. You got one more fan question. But I got one more rapid fire here.
Really quick one.
If you could ask Ross and Mark for a Christmas present on behalf of the team, what would it be going into 2022?
Free soda in the pop machines.
Oh, man.
There's a Moneyball reference for you.
That's not a bad one. Yeah, ice cream machine in the locker room. Man, great question. Oh gosh,
it can be a goofy one too. Like, it doesn't have to be a roster one. It can be like something funny.
I don't want to make it super serious.
I mean, you guys
implement the Ross Stripling on the WestJet flight deck.
There you go.
Ooh,
the WestJet flight deck.
How about like we move the mound up 6 inches in the Rogers Center and we don't tell anybody?
I like.
We move it like 6 inches closer to
just us. Nobody's got to know.
Are they going to move it back? Is that still happening? Yeah. Moving it back? Wasn't that in the discussions? Well, sort of. I mean, it won't happen in the CBA or anything. Yeah. I guess I can't promise that, but it seems that way. But in the Atlantic League, which is an independent ball, they moved it back to 61 feet 6 inches. Moved it back a full foot.
Did you know about this? Game's hard enough, man. Like,
yeah, yeah. Pitchers have it hard enough as it is. Exactly.
Yeah, my 90-mile-an-hour heater is not going to survive well at 61.5 feet. I can promise you that.
Ross,
I'm going to be throwing curveballs from the moon. Oh my gosh, I'd have to throw my curveball like I'd have to aim it like a foot higher.
Kevin will teach you his splitter. It'll all be good. You can just ditch the fastball altogether.
Ooh, that tweet you sent out a couple weeks ago, Ross, I can't tell you how much I was laughing about the average fastball speed in the league. Oh my gosh. I texted Max. I think I laughed for like 20 minutes reading that tweet. One question from a fan. We got Joe here from Ontario. That's his name, Joe from Ontario. He was just saying, I wonder how different training as a dual role player is now with obviously Shohei coming in and kind of doing his thing. We've seen and heard of a couple other people maybe coming up the ranks. I know that one of the Blue Jays prospects, actually, Max, I don't know if you've heard of this, Hagen Donner. Now, Ross, I don't know if you've had any encounters with Hagen, but he is
what a name,
right?
He needs an ice cream deal.
He's part of the franchise, exactly. If he comes up, we can have a Ross Stripling and Hagen Donner combo meal at the concession.
I like it.
But he is, 23? So he's in the Blue Jays organization. You might bump into him at training camp. He's a catcher who's converting to pitcher. Right. So he's converting. I don't know if he's going to play double, because I think catcher and pitcher would be kind of hard to do a dual role. But how different would training be if you have to train for both? I mean, it's got to be a massive difference.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. What Shohei did this season, I mean, I can't even really fathom it. I mean, just the workload to be a starting pitcher is insane. I mean, it really is. To stay healthy and pitch every 5 days over the course of 162 games is crazy. And I know at the end of the day, that's only working 32 times. But, man, the stress that it puts on your body and the travel and all the stuff that goes into it is wild. So then on top of that, I'm going to put on BP every day, and I'm going to hit the leadoff spot for the Los Angeles Angels and hit 40 homers and steal 30 bags or whatever he did and have to play in the field occasionally. I mean, it like I said, I took 6 weeks off. I hope he hasn't gotten off his couch yet. Like, I hope he's just absolutely, like, I hope he takes an Epsom salt bath every night. I mean, I can't imagine how he feels And, props to anyone that does it. And I hope they can sustain it. I mean, he's so amazing for our game and such an, once in a generation talent, no doubt about it. But man, as far as preparing for it, I bet it's kind of trial by fire, his first couple of years, kind of not staying healthy, struggling and that kind of stuff. Now, hopefully he's got a good routine down that keeps him on the field every day, because that's what we need. And that's what I hope for him. So I don't know, man. It comes down to listening to your body and just doing your best.
Yeah. Vladdy for MVP. I'll just say it. Vladdy for MVP. Yeah. We're all in agreement here. Anyways, Ross, thanks for tuning in. We'll let you go, get back to the family. But again, we're going to hold you to it, and we're probably going to bring you on before every start now that you mentioned it. You can be our Aaron Rodgers. Pat McAfee has Aaron Rodgers on every week.
There we go.
Ross, you just signed up for a commitment I don't think you're ready to sign up for.
Perfect.
We just got to get the strip loin worked out. We'll get it figured.
Yeah, once we get the strip loin money rolling. Anyways, Ross, we'll let you go. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll good luck with the rest of the offseason, obviously, especially as a union rep, and we'll be keeping an eye on it all.
Merry Christmas to you and your family as well, Ross.
Yeah, same to you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Thanks for having me, guys.
Take care, Ross.
Of course, Ross Stripling joins us on behalf of IKS Media. IKS brings you all of our video chats each and every week, and we have to give them a big shout out because they are your premier destination for event planning, live broadcasts, video screens, entertainment, and so much more. Visit iksmedia.ca today to see everything that they have to offer from all of their different departments, because they got some cool things going on. Always the best seat in the house at IKS. Always the best seat in the house at IKS Media. There we go. Got it.
Don't rush through the ad reads, buddy. Don't strain.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I was already looking ahead. When you take your eye off the ball and you miss it?
100%.
I was looking ahead to the next ad read, and then
Right.
Yeah. Also, shout out to RBI Baseball. Speaking of baseball, keep your eye on the ball at RBI Baseball. You won't screw up ad reads.
They teach you how to do it very well.
Yeah. Are you looking for a way to improve your skills on the baseball diamond and off? Are your kids in need of some personal training, skill building, and private coaching? Head over to RBI. They have the best instructors in the province. They are located just outside of Regina on the East End, and they will help you get better at both baseball and softball. I know that they're still taking, they still have openings for some of their block training that they have going on right now. So check out their Facebook, Instagram, or their website today and get to work at RBI. They rise above the rest. Jordan, can you let us know if Steven is ready?
That might have been the first time that Ross Stripling ever hit leadoff in his career.
Yeah.
And now we're heading to the 2-hole.
Yeah, he just opened up for Steven.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Do you want to just go right into Steve, or should we take a break? We should probably take a break.
We should probably take a quick one.
Okay, Jordan, we'll hit a break. We'll come to Steven. Steven, get warmed up.
Hit the
1.5
speed on the
Steven's in the bullpen. We're calling in. I don't know if Steven's a righty or a lefty.
We'll ask him.
But we're calling in Steven Ellis from the Hockey News after the break. Stay tuned.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Peterson Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Peterson Show today.
Everyday hoop life.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. IKS Live, the proud producer of The Rod Peterson Show and The Recovery Hour. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Since the last time we had Steven on, I think that song has changed. I don't know if Steven's in his room now, just like...
I think our whole branding has changed since the last time we had Steven on.
Yeah, oh yeah, it definitely has. But it is that time of year where World Junior Hockey fans and Canadians alike get worked up into a frenzy.
And artists as well.
And yeah, absolutely. But we work ourselves up into a frenzy every day as we inch closer to the World Juniors. And not only that, but of course, hockey season's happening too, just in general.
Exactly.
But here to break it all
For
down
now.
with us tonight from the Hockey News, Steven Ellis returns to the SquadCast. Steven, thank you so much for checking in. I love the picture in the background already. He's embracing his new Twitter bio.
Yeah, I went through all my old photos today, just the old ones I drew. There was some guy who reached out to me and said, "Hey, we got to make a picture book out of all this."
Oh.
Not
Yeah.
sure how to do that, but I had like 400 that I drew from the last World Juniors. So
You know what you
In
should
one
do.
tournament, you had 400, Steven.
Well, yeah.
it's funny. Like, I actually have a job that requires me to write about what's going on,
Right.
but it's just, people kind of fall for the photos and stuff.
Now, I don't know, Steven, if you've heard of NFTs, but maybe that's a direction you should go
Right.
in. NFTs, man, they're blowing up.
That's right.
I've had someone kind of suggest that when I was in Montreal for the Stanley Cup final, I actually decided to buy a pen for my Microsoft Surface. Makes drawing these things a lot easier.
Yeah.
I actually, did have somebody who was like offering to pay for some of these things. I'm like,
Buy
literally just
in.
save
We're turning this into a business show. We
Yeah,
got Ross
cash in.
Stripling with the...
Yeah, I don't know if you were in for that part, Stephen, but we suggested that Ross Stripling and the Blue Jays get into the steak industry with the Ross
See, it only makes
Stripling.
sense.
I mean, yeah.
It only makes sense.
I thought so too. There it is, the Ross Stripling. He looks super pumped in that picture too. Stephen, before we get into the hockey, I just thought of this. You are a fan of obscure sports. We talked about this last time you were on with us. Now, this isn't so much obscure as global, but were you extremely as invested on the weekend as our director Jordan was in the F1 drama that was going on with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen and et cetera, that went on? What was your thoughts on that this weekend?
So I've watched Formula One since I was about 4 years old.
Had a feeling.
And I can tell you that was the best season of Formula One I've ever watched. You know what? A lot of I would hate to be a race director. It sucks. It's really hard. And there was definitely some questionable decisions there. Some of that was still in Lewis's hands to have won that race. He could have pit. It would have been risky, but then if he pits, Verstappen doesn't pit, and all of a sudden he's on the fresh tires and he's on the attack. So I'll just say that F1's having a PR nightmare right now, and it's kind of a shame. That's kind of how the season ends. But it's Formula One. I kind of like tweeted out, it's like, oh, good, Formula One. We know that they over police things. Like in NASCAR, you're allowed to slam into anybody. Dirt racing, same thing. But in F1, you come near someone and it's investigated. So,
oh yeah.
Of course, it comes down to a judgment call, or not judgment call, but it comes down to a ruling that no one seemed to agree on, and that was the difference maker in the end.
Well, here's the thing. You say PR nightmare, but it's got a non-F1 necessarily fan like me. I literally know every detail about this now because Jordan's told me but I also have done some looking into it because now I'm like genuinely curious. So now I'm like into it. Now I want to watch the Drive to Survive series. I want to get into that because now I want to see all this stuff.
I was going to say, I don't think Netflix is terribly upset with how things shook out.
The next episode of that
I think
show
it's
is going to be huge.
James Hinchcliffe, the IndyCar driver, who actually he retired today. But he kind of tweeted, it's like, oh, it's F1's a lot of fun when you got Netflix doing race control. I watched a few episodes of Drive to Survive, and if you're a new fan, it's awesome. But if you watch the entire season, it's like, I don't recall it being this over dramatic, and it's just kind of hard to watch. So I kind of gave up on it.
Clever editing, as they say. All right. I'm going to let you, Max, take over.
Yeah, for sure. I guess, well, before we get into the hockey talk, Stephen, we're going to give you a cross-crease tap-in. You know, the patented one on NHL every game that they've ever had. Exactly. You got to give us the backstory of the Instagram handle, because much like I'm assuming yourself, I'm trying desperately to avoid every single Spider-Man No Way Home spoiler that there possibly could be on the internet. A little bit tough when you do the kind of work that we do, but at the same time, what's the backstory of the handle, and do you got any tips and tricks for avoiding spoilers on social? Because I've come dangerously close to ruining it already for myself.
The amount of times I've had to triple check that it's Steven when I tag him in stuff, just to make sure. Is this his? Yeah, it is. Okay.
So first off, as I was waiting to get on here, I unfortunately saw some terrible spoilers.
Oh no!
Tell Max right now.
No. Anyways, here's what happened. I was in a Discord channel. It was called Spider Leaks. So of course, it's kind of my fault for being in it, but it was kind of because I wanted to see, leading up to it, all the kind of just the deep stuff people were doing to kind of look into it. But yeah, so my Instagram's I'm probably Spider-Man. I hate Instagram. I don't like it at all. I only use it literally to promote my photos that I take for hockey or when I'm doing NASCAR photography, and it's kind of just for work related purposes. So I just wanted to have just a random name, and that was a name I had in high school. I've changed it a few times, and I keep coming back to it. So yeah, I'm probably Spider-Man. It's just a Spider-Man. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. So right now, this I'm taking Friday off work. My work doesn't know it yet to go see the movie. Sorry, Hockey News. Hopefully, of course, that'll be the day when all the breaking news happens. The NHL will shut down for the season or something. But yeah, it's kind of, I just keep it. I don't care about it, so I just don't really align it with my other platforms, essentially.
Well, you know what's funny about that, Stephen, right? In our subconscious as fans of whatever it be, sports, pop culture, I'm probably Spider-Man. If everybody knows this, Peter Parker is a photographer, right? So if that's most of your content, I mean, it all just kind of loops back in and around. But I'm with you, my man. I took Friday off as well. My employer does know about it already, so we're good. But yeah, I don't know how I'm going to stay off social media for the next 3 days. I'm going to put some filters on or something. But anyways, moving on.
I've seen too much, unfortunately. Just the two screenshots I saw, I'm like, okay.
Oh, no.
I hate that.
Oh, and it's been...
That's okay.
We've just been waiting so long.
Send him to Max. Just ruin his week.
The one thing I will say...
See, the problem is...
Yeah, go ahead.
I have an opinion on it that I don't totally hate the leaks, but it's it will ruin it for people.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I've done a fairly good job.
I like them.
Exactly. And you know what? And that's what I've heard as well, too. I did see a tweet that said, even if it's been spoiled for you, you're going to love the movie. So regardless if it happens, it happens. But I guess moving into the hockey talk, right, Stephen? And you set it up perfectly for us. You put it on a tee, as they say. Around these parts, some may have dubbed you the unofficially official exclusive doodle artist of the World Junior Hockey Championships.
Yes.
Now, can we expect the same type of shenaniganery during this year's edition of the tournament, or are we just going to have to stay tuned?
It's returning, and it's coming back for the Olympics.
Excellent. Breaking news.
I know my part of that is because the IOC will literally do whatever it takes to shut down your account if you share clips.
Right.
So I just don't want to mess with them. Of course, if the NHL doesn't go, I think my audience for a China versus Germany game at 2 a.m. might not be very big, but it's we'll see. But yeah, no, those aren't going away. It kind of just started with this one Niels Höglander one, because I posted a clip of him scoring a cool goal, and then it got DMCA'd. So I'm like, okay, so I just drew it, and I showed it to my dad. He thought it was the funniest thing ever. And he's just keep doing this, and then it ended up just becoming a thing. And then I only bring it out for kind of certain occasions. So yeah, it's come back to the World Juniors. I don't want to overthink it. But it's just got to be fun. It's got to be random. But I got to say, the burritos are back, because on all the American players, I don't know how many of them I got in there. They have burritos on their head because they're sponsored by Chipotle.
That's awesome.
So little small things.
His production value is going to be up this year because he's got a pen now. For his
exactly. Yeah,
so
100%.
I'm expecting big things here. But
see, that's the thing. It's people say it's man, this looks better than what you see on TV, it's like, well, yeah, because like this is like 8K instead of the 4K broadcast.
Exactly.
Totally.
100% it is.
Yeah, it's in crystal clear 2D. I mean, what more could you ask for? But Steven, it's been a big week. Obviously, with a lot of roster news coming out about the World Juniors itself. Some guys not coming, some guys coming. It's really, there's a lot of question marks. But from what you've seen of the rosters, is Team USA a team that we're looking to bounce back as another gold medal team, or do you think there's going to be some change in the guard this year? What's your overview of kind of the rosters so far as they've trickled out this week?
USA is a team where I think I'm higher on them than most people. Yeah, they don't have the depth that we've seen in previous years, and like look in the past when they were able to get much of the same group, that the group that played in the 2019 U18s. Most of that team, like Cole Caulfield and Zegras and guys that got the chance to play last year, that group's done. So now you've got to get the younger age groups, and it's definitely not as strong, but I think there's maybe going to be some surprises there. I think it's almost very wide open. There's not a lot of set, like you're the number one center, you're the number one like deep. It's kind of more wide open, and I think that gives the opportunity for some guys to kind of shine. Right now, if I'm looking at who the favorite is to win gold, it's Canada, and that just sounds easy. That's usually the answer every year, but that's a team where you look at the guys that didn't make it, guys like Brant Clark, guys like Joshua Roy and Hendrix Lapierre, and they still look downright dominant. So I still think Canada's number one. Sweden's going to look really good. William Eklund and Alex Holtz alone should really kind of push that team, and Jesper Wallstedt might be one of the best goalies in the tournament. Russia's maybe is not as strong as they could have been. Like they didn't bring any of their junior players or their CHL players, or Yan Kuznetsov, who would have probably been, like he's playing the AHL, he probably would have been the best defenseman on that team, and he didn't make the team. So that was a bit puzzling. So right now, if I'm looking at like who the strong teams, I still think Americans got a chance at the medal. I think Canada's number one, maybe USA 2, maybe Sweden 3, but it's going to take a collapse by Canada to lose this one. I think it just start to finish every position. There's enough depth to get excited about that group.
Let's stick with the Russian team just a little bit. Was there a reason that came out as to why they left the Canadian Hockey League or the North American skaters off the team? Is there a reason for that? Did they want to? Is it a political thing with players just only coming from Russia this year? What's the deal with that? Do you know?
See, Russia and like Slovakia are two countries that are kind of known for letting some pretty quality players not come because they're in the CHL. But the fact that they have no CHLers, and then also the really strange thing is that every single player on Russia shoots left. I've never seen that before.
Yeah,
like literally every player.
It's like the Blue Jays lineup.
There was one time about 5 or 6 years ago, the Detroit Red Wings dressed a lineup for a couple of games in a row. It was all left-handed shots.
What was their record in those games?
I don't know. Could probably lost a couple. It was during they were pretty good at the time. They weren't that bad of a team, but that sticks out in my mind. So yeah. It's not never happened before, but it's rare.
I've never kind of subscribed to the idea that you need to have a certain mix of like left and right hand shooters. Like I know like a lot of it's been made about Canada not having any right handed defense. It's like a lot of these guys play on the opposite side, right. So that's not really a problem. Like when I play defense myself, I was a right handed guy shooting on the left side. Now, granted, I played house league. I'm not in the NHL. I'm not a junior prospect, but I made it work. So these guys better be able to make it work.
Right,
but
exactly.
Russia's team, it's still good. Like there's still a lot of talent, but it's like you definitely did not bring the best group possible. And it's like the CHL guys, they don't have to do an extra quarantine like Russia because they're already local, like they're in the country. But Russia, like they have to quarantine for 2 days when they show up. So that again really doesn't make a lot of sense. And they've submitted like that's their final roster, barring any injuries. They're not bringing anyone else. So it's kind of puzzling. There's been no real official reason given, but we know Russia in the past has made political decisions to not bring CHL players because they have left the KHL development system. So no, that's what I'm kind of leaning.
Yeah, it's interesting for Russia. And again, sticking on him. I mean, Steven, I don't know if you could tell, I'm a Preds fan.
Oh, really?
Again, it might have jumped out. But anyways, Yaroslav Askarov, speaking of Russia, he's making his third appearance at the tournament. Obviously, the first couple didn't exactly yield the results that him or his country expected of him. But from what you know of Askarov, at least from this season, and maybe what you've seen, what you haven't seen, could the third time be the charm for him at this year's tournament?
So I'm a huge Askarov fan. I think that this guy is truly one of the best goalie prospects that we've seen, and I still think he's going to win the Vezina Trophy at some point in his career.
That makes me happy.
I'm a huge fan. But Hey, you know, I had really high hopes on Saros too. I just wish he was like 5 inches taller.
I know.
So not, I don't think at his age he's not probably going to grow that tall. But
probably
with Askarov, it's just like I don't know how to really explain. And it's like from talking to goalie coaches and goalie experts about what Askarov did wrong the last 2 years. Like the first year, I didn't think he should have played many games in the first place. But then last year, like that should have been his tournament. And in the end, his stats weren't terrible. Like I think people kind of maybe misremember like how his tournament actually went. But Russia's defense also wasn't very good. They were blowing a lot of opportunities there. But he also would just drop his stick like it was like his job to do so. And that really made no sense. So there's a lot of things there where it's like, okay, he should have been so much better than they ended up performing. This year alone, he's got another 5 games of KHL experience. Like he's got a lot more pro experience now than he did a year ago. And I think that's kind of a key thing, which a lot of these guys don't have that same experience. Now in Europe, goalies do often play pro at this point. I still think he's one of the best goalies in this tournament, without a question. It's just, what's his mindset going to be? He's played in 2 of these tournaments and he's kind of not been at the best he could. But we saw him at the Karjala Cup last year where he was lights out and the reason Russia dominated. So we know he can kind of steal games, but this has to be the opportunity where he does it. If he has another not so perfect tournament, I think there'll be some questions raised.
For sure.
Just watch your toes here. I'm just about to drop a few names. Wayne Gretzky, Eric Lindros, Jay Bouwmeester, Jason Spetz. I think you see where I'm going here. Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, and now the next Connor Bedard.
Spoiler alert.
You missed Bill Campbell, the best of all of them.
Shoot.
Jeez. Well, it's only good if you get them all, Clark.
You're
Come
right.
on.
I missed one.
You're embarrassing us.
Who did I miss? Anyways.
Don't worry, I hadn't heard of Bill Campbell either.
Bill Campbell. When did that happen?
I thought he was on the dollar bill, wasn't he?
That's a different guy.
That was 81, but I believe that was like the final time they did like a Memorial Cup team out there. So it's like he didn't make it because he was really good. He just made it because he made his own team.
Wasn't like the all-star format or whatever. Okay.
No, it's not like he actually forced his way onto it like Connor.
Right, okay. Right. So now we're living in Regina. So I've been lucky to see Connor. Have you seen Connor Bedard in person?
I've seen him once, yeah.
So we've both seen Connor Bedard in person, but we've never seen him playing with World Junior level caliber players. So how excited should Canada be to see this guy? And I know in first practice day, Mark Masters tweeted out that he's the 13th forward. I don't expect that to last very long. Should we get excited for this kid to move up the lineup pretty fast? And what do you think his impact is going to be on this team this year?
I still say temper your expectations with him in this term. It's not going to be like Matvei Michkov on Russia, where he's going to be like, he's going to have to be a really big key player, and he's another 2023 draft pick.
Right.
When you're looking at Bedard, he doesn't need to be that good. And I think even if you're just limiting him to, let's say, 6 minutes a night, but we usually know the 13 forward really doesn't play a lot. Mm-hmm. If you're limiting him to a few minutes a night, he'll make the most of those few minutes. And I think if you can't really get a word any better of a 13 forward. So I do think he is probably not going to play a lot. Wouldn't even be shocked if he ends up sitting a game or two because he's so young. A lot of this is for the experience. Of course, next year is going to be his big chance to really be the dominant force that he can be. But at the same time, in camp, I think he got a lot of points. It was clear, but they were kind of trying a lot of things. They were giving more ice time than I think we were really expecting him to. And that's because a lot of the star players, the locks, didn't play both games. So he kind of had those opportunities. But I think if they're icing their best possible lineup for both youth sports games, I don't think we're talking about Bedard getting 6 points. Now, granted, I think he's every time he's going to be on the ice, I think he's going to make an impact. And if you're putting him against some of the weaker matchups out there, he's going to do a lot of damage. And in those games against the weaker teams, I think he will get a bit of opportunities. But I don't think you're going to see him against like Finland moving up to like the second line. I think at best we're talking the Quentin Byfield. Remember, he didn't play a whole lot in his first year. Right. Byfield, slightly older and a bit of a different situation. He was probably better suited for a fourth line role anyways, but I don't think we're going to see a ton of Bedard, but I think what we're going to see of him will be impactful. And obviously you guys have seen a lot of him. You know how good he is, and we all know how good he's going to be, but I don't, just because of the age, I think we're going to see Hockey Canada lean towards their more veteran players, which it sounds stupid calling veterans at 19 years old, but it is.
Yeah. Either way, I'm excited to see how he kind of fits in and how they utilize him. Like you said, will they power play specialize and what will they do with them? One thing that is one of my favorite things, and Max, I'm kind of stealing your question here a little bit because I know you were going to kind of ask one similar.
Great, I have all the good ones anyway.
I know we've talked about some of the big countries. We talked about Russia, Sweden. One of my favorite things about the World Juniors is seeing some smaller countries. One guy kind of steals a spotlight, or two guys steal a spotlight. We've seen it in recent years with teams like Germany and these other teams coming up, and they have, JJ Peterka a couple of years ago with Germany was so good, and some of these other guys. Who's going to be that guy or a couple of guys like that this year that we should really watch for?
The one I think that's going to be really exciting is Austria's top centerman, Marco Casper. He's a 2004. He played on the team last year, and honestly, I would say almost at points was better than Marco Rossi. Now at the end, of course, we kind of learned that Rossi was just recovering from COVID and it ended up like being in a terrible health situation at the point. So that's kind of to be expected, but he's going to be, I think, really important. Senna Peters, I think, is another guy who will be good on Austria. I think Austria's top line of Peters, Casper, and I want to say it would be probably Leon Wallner. That's going to be a pretty decent line, a lot of fun to watch. Austria versus Germany is going to be one of the biggest games of the tournament because it's going to decide who goes to relegation unless Germany somehow like beats Canada. But the problem with Germany, they won't have Reichel, they won't have Stützle, they won't have Peterka. So last year, when you look at that group, and that's the one where if everything was healthy and they were doing that, they probably could have stolen a really big game at some point. They had the talent, and that top line was rolling. But now you're looking at it where they won't have their top line. The rest of the group's pretty average. That's not necessarily really good. I'm really liking Slovakia. I think Slovakia is a team where maybe not this year, but maybe next year is really going to come out here and I think really surprise. They've got a lot of talent in guys like Juraj Slavkovsky, who's going to be a top prospect, Simon Nemec, a really good player. And the one to really watch, though, is Dalibor Dvorsky. He's 16 years old. He's 2023 draft. But this guy was unbelievable. He had multiple hat tricks at the Hlinka Gretzky. He was one of the best players out there, despite being 2 years younger than a lot of the guys. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. So Slovakia, Germany, or Austria, they kind of have some guys to watch. But if it's almost like, I feel really bad for Germany because last year would have been their year, and this year they might legitimately get relegated, which would be kind of a bummer. But if you want to see that team, if you wanted to put money on a team that could actually go out there and pull off a quarterfinal upset, Slovakia might be the team to watch, depending on who they play, just because there's so much young talent in that group. It might be one of the best Slovakian teams in terms of pure talent that we've seen in 20 years. So at the World Juniors, and that's pretty exciting.
So before we head to the NHL real quick there, Steven, I really wanted to talk about Owen Power because we obviously went through the list of 16-year-olds to make Team Canada. I think the list might be even shorter for guys that have debuted in a World Men's Championship and then played in a World Junior Championship. Can we expect this guy to be a dominant force as the first overall pick in the draft, a guy that's playing in Michigan, or is he just going to be that steadfast kind of maybe, I don't know, almost like a Victor Hedman-esque type of player for Team Canada at this World Junior Championship?
So I think the only other guy that do that for Team Canada was Patrice Bergeron, and he did it because for whatever reason he did back in the day. So for Power, that's kind of cool. And I talked to him about that. I was like, what was your World Championship experience? And he said, I think one of the most key things that he learned was how to battle through adversity. And those first couple games where they went out there and lost to Germany and Latvia and just played absolutely terrible. But I think that experience could really translate well into this tournament where he can be a leader for this group. And he's having a really strong season in NCAA. His offensive numbers are really flourishing. Granted, he plays on a team where the guy could probably get a lot of points as a defenseman. Right. With University of Michigan, where it's just so many guys that are scoring.
Some not bad guys there, yeah.
Couple guys.
Yeah, just a few of them. And so if he's getting a chance to go out there and pass to Kent Johnson, well, Kent Johnson's probably going to put a few pucks in, and we've seen that chemistry work. So I think he's going to be a really good playmaker in this. He could play kind of all situations, but he will be the physical body there. Caden Gooley probably would too, but I think Power, you can kind of throw into a shutdown role if you need. If you need a point on the power play, he could do it. He can kind of just do everything for Canada. And truly, the comparison that was given to me when first watching him was Victor Hedman. I watched him back when he was only 14 years old outside of Toronto, and just seeing like this guy was just huge from the get-go, and you could see kind of some Hedman traits in it. And I think that probably is the best way of explaining kind of how he plays. And that's the guy he watches the most. If there's the size, the offensive skill, very good at poking the puck away. There's just kind of so many things that he does well. So I think Owen Power is going to be maybe the most important player on Team Canada.
That's a pretty damn good comparable, I would say.
Wouldn't be mad about it.
Victor Hedman's done some good things in the league, eh?
Yep.
He's done a couple.
Couple cups.
Just traded for him in my keeper league still. I think he's got a few years left.
I hope so.
Anyways, the state of the NHL, Steven. Today's been a Twitter nightmare for many reasons. Obviously, Spider-Man No Way Home, but also the NHL. What's been the water cooler talk like, so to speak, if you even have a water cooler at the Hockey News, on a scale of like 1 to holy shit? Are we going to be?
We're breaking the swear barrier.
We're breaking it because it's been a day. Are we at that point of talking about potentially looking at a bubble, potentially a unexpected stoppage? Like what do you think is, or I guess what have you heard rather? What's our next steps looking like if we continue to see names fall due to COVID?
And if I can add on this,
please do.
How will this affect the World Juniors too, which is coming up quick in Canada? What's that looking like, I guess, on top of all of this?
See, that's the World Junior thing. That's a tough question that really hasn't been asked a lot. They're not in a bubble, except the players will still be very restricted on where they're going. So the players will be with each other. There will be a quarantine for the teams that have to kind of fly in. So there's that. But then like the teams are going to be only allowed, to my understanding, at the hotel and the arena. They're not going to be doing sightseeing. I think Canada, they're doing that right now in Banff, which is one of my favorite places in the world. I'm so jealous right now. But they've got the opportunity where they're not probably going to be doing a lot of traveling. So that's good at this point. They're still looking at full fans if you're fully vaccinated. So the fact that they haven't kind of changed that stance, I'd say, is a good sign for that. In terms of the NHL, it's kind of like it's too early to tell, but also almost too late at the same time, because it's like it's too early. Like, are we talking like the new variant here where these players, for the most part, like we've only heard about players like just being totally fine. They've got it, but like they're feeling completely fine, and that's a good thing. I think the NHL's better set here to address it than at any point in the last couple of years, outside of maybe the bubble, but that was because that was completely extreme circumstances. I do think the NHL's best bet here would, let's put a pause on it and return sometime right after the Christmas break and just kind of reset. Give the guys a chance to go home and just not be involved here, because it's also very distracting for the players where they're probably hyper focused on this topic the whole time. And of course, you got guys who go to the All-Star game, which doesn't seem to be getting a lot of attention. It's all Olympics. And I get it. There's obviously more risk there, but we are talking about the All-Star game just days before they have to leave. So that is still an issue here. And so there's a lot of problems that are still on the table here, but if most of the players are getting it, but they're not, they're going to be fine in a couple of days, I don't think there's as much reason to worry. And that's the good thing. We look, the Carolina Hurricanes have kind of been upfront and saying like, yeah, all our guys are fine. They've contracted it, but they're okay. And as long as they're not spreading it and they're quarantining for now and they're going to be okay and only missing a little bit of time, maybe they can just keep going. And this is just a blip in the radar, but we can't wait too long at this point. We do know the NHL, the NHLPA, and some other doctors have met tonight to kind of discuss what the next steps are. I wouldn't be shocked, and it wouldn't be a bad idea if they cancel the games, but if they pause it for a little bit, but at the same time, they might see an opportunity where they can get around it all. And that would be super ideal, but we got to talk about safety here. So we don't want to put the players in an unsafe situation. At this point, the Olympics are a ticking time bomb. Like, I can't imagine any way this happens. And if that's the case, we're looking at Canada's goaltending, potentially including Justin Pogge, which would be awesome to see based off of what we saw at the World Juniors so long ago. He's going to be the Channel 1 Cup starting goalie tomorrow morning. So, it's kind of a mixed bag, and we should know pretty soon. But it's definitely the most concerned I've been, and for obvious reasons, all season long. Look, when we saw Ottawa and we saw the Islanders, I wasn't concerned about the Olympics at that point. It was when it started to spread to a lot more teams, even in just small doses. That's when I think it really became a problem. Yeah,
and well, you know what, Steve, I appreciate the update, and you know what, it's like, it sucks. It sucks that we're still in this world and talking about this, but it's unfortunately it's the reality of the situation. Yeah. But to end off here, let's go to a bit of more of a festive note, a little bit of a lighter note. I'm not too sure how much your professional life differs from your personal life. I know we'll be watching a lot of hockey over our holidays, but what is your holiday plans looking like this coming Christmas, Steven?
Well, I'll be in Edmonton for the juniors, so
Nice.
that's definitely a focus. I love the juniors, but I think I almost like the Spengler Cup just as much.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see, but I'm a huge HC Davos fan.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
So I always
There we
like
go.
to see them play. So that's a key thing. Other than that, it's a lot of hockey, obviously. Getting to see my family. Unfortunately, COVID has caused some deaths in the family, so it's gonna be nice to see kind of some people where we're not having to go to a funeral for a little bit.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's gonna be nice just to kind of like I still live I live in Toronto. My family lives like 25 minutes away, so like I do visit them from time to time, but so it's not like it's anything really different. But I'm happy to. It'll be nice to take a couple of days off and not think about hockey around Christmas. Like last year, Christmas Day having the hockey was not my favorite. So it was a nice little nice as a one-off. I never want to do that again.
For sure.
I want to be able to enjoy Christmas with my family, and I think everyone can kind of agree on that one.
When you do have time, what's your go-to Christmas or holiday movie?
Yeah.
See, I know Elf was said before. I
Yes.
think that's one of the worst Christmas movies around.
Ooh, hot take.
I just don't find it funny, and I like a lot of Will Ferrell movies.
Yeah.
I just don't find that one funny. I'd say the original Santa Claus is probably one of my favorites.
Ding, ding, ding. Nailed it.
Arthur Christmas is really good, and if you guys haven't seen the new Grinch movie, I think that's one of the best animated Christmas movies of all time.
Benedict Cumberbatch is the voice.
Yes, that sounds about right.
Well,
yes.
we'll be seeing him on Friday.
Yeah, well,
in
yeah.
the flesh, not in animated form. But
I've it's the new Grinch has played in my household because I got two younger daughters. I didn't pay attention to it, so I'm gonna have to pay attention.
Come
to it
on,
next time.
man.
I know. I'm telling you,
It's good. It's good.
I'll have to watch it.
It's really solid. Like it's got its own identity, which is nice. Like the animation, obviously, like that's animated compared to the live action one,
Right.
Like 20 something years ago. But this one, I feel, has got its own identity where it doesn't feel like obviously it's the Grinch story, but it doesn't feel anything like the original cartoon or the live action movie.
Arthur Christmas too. You said it. Love that movie. That's a good.
see,
one.
that's one I've never seen. I've heard the
That's a
Christmas
good one.
Chronicles
Yeah.
as well.
Solid.
I like watching a lot of
Christmas
movies.
Chronicles is great.
Yeah?
Christmas Chronicles 1 is fantastic.
Yeah.
Christmas Chronicles 2 was like drones attacking from the sky and like laser beam. It didn't
gets
make
a
a lot
little
of
crazy.
sense, but I think it was almost funny in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, my older daughter loves Christmas Chronicles.
I'll have to give that one a go then. I've heard
Yeah.
that from a few people that's one to check out.
It's a good one,
We
too,
just
yeah.
finished with the live action Grinch. It's a once a year. The girlfriend loves it, so that's just what we do.
Yeah,
it's
Santa
at the point
Claus.
where I can be on my phone and I'm quoting the movie, not even paying attention. I'm just saying the
Just
lines.
saying
And
it.
it's just
The Santa Claus for me is mine, and Christmas Vacation. My name is Clark, so I kind of have a special connection. My dad
Kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wait, you've met the star of the movie? Is that what you're talking about? Your special
No, I
connection?
think I was somewhat maybe subconsciously, if not named after that guy.
For sure.
So, anyways,
See, I have 80 jerseys. I'm trying to see if I know where it is, but I have a Clark Griswold Blackhawks
No way.
jersey somewhere.
there you go.
Might not be here.
I was gifted my first year when I was in Estevan working with the Bruins in the SJHL, Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Coach Lou Good gave me a Blackhawks shirt that said Griswold on the back. And I was like, wow, this is a deep cut. Thanks, man.
That's
I still
awesome.
have it somewhere in my house. But anyways, Stephen, we'll let you go. Thanks so much for giving us the update on all the things tonight. And maybe we'll do this again closer to New Year's or shortly into the new year. But stay well yourself and enjoy the trip to Edmonton. And we'll talk again soon.
Enjoy Spider-Man, Stephen. Merry
that.
Christmas. Happy holidays. Enjoy. Travel safe.
The Spider-Man's going to be my new favorite Christmas movie, and it's got nothing to do with Christmas.
I know exactly.
Why not?
Yeah, I already
It
know
came
it's
out
gonna be
around
mine, too.
Christmas, therefore it's a Christmas movie, I guess. I don't know.
sure.
Anyways, thanks, Stephen. We'll talk to you again.
Take care, Stephen.
All right, and
Thanks, guys.
that guest was brought to you by our friends at Hoop Life Basketball. Hoop Life Basketball. Head to your
We should have
app
talked to
store.
Stephen about Steph breaking the 3 record.
Ah, dang it!
We
That's not an
blew it.
obscure enough sport, I don't think.
No, that's right.
It's
Pickleball, basketball.
there you go.
Could you imagine if basketball became an actual thing?
It might as well now.
Okay, so that's our first question for Stephen's next interview.
Basketball?
Basketball league.
Yep.
Got it. I'm just saying that's
who would be your first pick? Who would be good?
Oh.
You got to think like kind of on the comedian side of stuff. I
No,
mean,
I'm
would you take the main character like from Matt Stone? Is that his name? Matt Stone? Matt Stone? What's
Isn't
his
Dana
name?
Carvey in it? Is Dana Carvey the
No,
second
I don't
guy?
think so. It's the South Park guys. It's the South Park
Oh,
guys.
it is. That's right. Okay.
That's why. Is it Matt Stone?
Possibly.
I think that's his name. Would you take him because he has experience?
Well, I guess so.
Yeah.
but he's also like, if you're taking it currently, like if we're doing a fantasy draft 2-day where we're taking age into consideration, you might have to go to the new generation. You might just have to like hold open tryouts.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like who would be a guy that you could take who would be athletic enough.
Probably take Steph Curry. Steph Curry, I'd take.
It has to be athletic enough, but also they'd have to have a major.
Because I'm trying to think of how it was played again. I'm like, oh yeah, never mind. That's how you do it.
You know who might be underrated, and I've heard is a basketball wizard.
Michael Jordan. He played for the Wizards.
Okay, Adam Sandler.
Yes,
I've heard he's unreal at basketball and constantly plays it.
Yeah.
And
we all saw it in the longest
he can
yard.
chirp probably was among some of the best.
Oh yeah, he'd have the distractions. Yeah.
So
you
I'm
imagine
just
him
thinking of
going
that
up and doing his Adam Sandler
I
thing?
mean, people would lose their minds.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to think. Yeah,
Great
some other good
marketing,
ones. Jay Farrow might be a really good one. You know, Jay Farrow for SNL. Super impressionist.
Okay.
He might be really good at that too. I think he'd be pretty athletic.
It's like
as well.
Jackie Moon with the granny free throw toss.
Oh, Jackie. Yeah. Okay. Well, Steven Ellis just said that Will Ferrell, it's not the best Christmas movie.
Well, it's not the best Christmas movie of all
I know.
time.
Just saying.
It's not.
Also, Will Ferrell's older than we think. Like he's been around for a long time now.
He's got a Christmassy type of movie coming out with Ryan Reynolds.
Right.
That's where the viral TikTok
about
came
that.
from.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like a musical.
Yeah. When is that coming out? What is it? Do we know?
We saw the TikTok. It
we'll have
didn't
to
have a
look that
release date, but we'll have to look it up.
It
We'll
looks.
do the research.
Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. How can you go wrong?
Oh, I know. Oh, I'm signed up. It's money's
It's
already
gotta be
spent.
good. Anyways, Hoop Life Basketball. Use the promo
Sports.
code SQUAD10 to get 10% off all camp sessions and their magical apparel line. It's great. So check it out, hooplifebasketball.com, or download the app today on your app store. You can do that as well. Hooplifebasketball.
I think we got to skip the ads. Let's go right into
we're just going right into our
Yeah.
NFL picks. I was going to say the same thing.
I was
Let's get
5-0
out of
this
here.
week. I'm a stud.
Jordan's
Let's
starting
go.
to play the music. The hook is coming out. He's going to pull us off stage soon.
Exactly.
So now I had the battle game in here, Max. Did you want to go Chiefs-Chargers Thursday or Packers-Ravens, which I believe is Sunday night or at least Sunday afternoon?
See if Lamar's out, though. We don't know of that.
Okay, Chiefs-Chargers it is. Thursday.
What's wrong with Patriots and Colts?
It's not Chiefs-Chargers. I was just looking at records, and those are the two best
Those are
records
the ones that
playing each
jumped
other.
out to you?
Yeah. What do you think, though? Do you want to go a
Toilet
different game?
Bowl, Texans, Jags.
We could. We haven't done a toilet bowl battle game
We have
yet.
not done a toilet bowl ballot.
let me
That
just
might
pull
be
up the-
tough, too.
Hold on. Let me pull up the schedule because I didn't have it up. I was looking at it earlier. Vikings Bears Monday night. Who's gonna watch that game? Yikes! I know Arash Madani's not gonna watch it. I
There's
think he's
a
checked
lot
out.
of Bears fans, though.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of Bears
There's a
fans
lot of
that thought
Vikings
they had
fans
them.
too.
Yeah.
There'll be people watching. I'm joking. Texans Jags. That would be something else. Let's do Texans Jags.
Let's do the
Texans,
toilet bowl.
Jags.
Yeah,
Say
the
that 20
pronunciation's getting
times
to us.
fast. It's the end of the night. Let me. You know what?
It's about that time.
Smooth out my pronunciation
That's
with
right.
a Brewhouse Ultra. It is a 100 calorie, 4 grams of carbs, exceptionally refreshing from our friends at Great Western Brewery. Let's get the crack in here.
Oh, good one.
So we're going to do the Texans Jags for battle game. So I had the worst record. We're on a roll, both of us. We were coming off of a couple of struggling weeks,
Like
and the
3 in a
last-
row, it was tough.
The last 2 weeks, we're both.
I think I've got
nearly,
9-1 in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and so I think I have 2, or close to it, 8-2 at least.
Yeah.
So we're both doing really well.
I think I'm a game and a half back now.
You were 5-0 this week, so you don't get to pick first. I get to pick first.
So you don't get to pick first.
I get to pick first. So I am going to go. I think the one that's jumping off to me right away. Oh, there's 2 actually.
Okay, hold on though. I'm going to be a very nice person competitively.
What are you talking about? You're going to let me pick both the first 2 games?
No, I'm not going to let you do that. I'm just saying, should we check Twitter in case anything has come down while
I
we're
just
doing
checked
this?
my phone.
Because if you take the
Austin Matthews scored a goal. It's
well, that's
1-0
great.
power play
If
goal.
you take the Browns and they got 8 guys out due to COVID, I might not let you change that pick.
Oh, I wasn't
so.
looking at that game.
Okay.
There's 2 other ones I'm looking at.
Alrighty, hit it.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to go with this one.
Send it.
There's 2, and I don't know which one. I'm going to go Cardinals over Lions. I think that's an easy one. I feel like that's an easy one. But
Yeah,
now
that'd probably
the
be the
Lions
play.
have won a game. Did you see their celebration in their locker room after they
Yeah, it
won
was
that
like
game?
2 weeks ago, man. Come
My
on. Where were
goodness. Yeah, but they have won. So at least they're off the
you? So
schneid.
you're picking the Lions over the Cards. Got it.
Yeah, Lions over. Right. Yeah, picking the Lions. I'll go Cardinals, please. I'll take Cardinals for $500.
Juked you there. You would not be my first pick in basketball. You already got thrown off. You're done.
Yeah, I'm not good at. I think I would do okay at basketball, but anyways, you're up.
I'd be a solid bench player.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. This.
Who are the Browns even playing that you thought they would be the?
This might not be
The Browns have a bye week. Oh, no, never mind. Sorry.
There's no bye weeks anymore.
Why would that be the first one I was going to pick in your mind?
No, I was just saying, like, let's check out
Just
Twitter in
checking.
case any more COVID stuff's
Right.
come down. Because, like, I'm a little
I
worried.
mean, it has spread around.
I'm a little worried about my Rams right now. I really am.
We might have to have a clause in this week where
We
can,
might have to have a clause as to what comes out.
We might have to just kind of play it by
I'm going
ear.
to take the Dolphins over the Jets, though. Dolphins coming
Really?
off the bye. It's not the automatic, but the Dolphins need a win. This is kind of like your gimme game.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
I think you got to go Dolphins.
I'm going to jump all over the Cowboys over the Giants, and I'm a little surprised you didn't go that route.
Yeah, Mike Glennon could come up with something that. Hey, the Cowboys didn't exactly close out that Washington football game super strong.
You're right.
They did.
Anti-shout out to Washington football team owner Dan Snyder.
Yeah, he sucks.
He sucks. And I've said this before. I've gone on the rant already. I've done it. But Google Dan Snyder and see what comes up today. He's trying to basically hold back evidence and information on their recent email scandal, and that just adds to a multitude of, and you said this word earlier, so I'm gonna again break the swear barrier, a multitude of shitty things that the Washington football team and the owner Dan Snyder has done over his
It's
career.
mostly him, though.
It is.
It's
but
mostly him.
He's the owner of the team, therefore it reflects the team, therefore I hate the team. There you go. Who's
Yeah,
next?
well, Harold Ballard was a dick. He's
He's gone now, though. He's gone.
Well,
He's not
he's
there
part.
anymore.
He's part of the past. He
Have you heard
reflects
the story
history
of
the team.
the soda prices with Harold Ballard?
No, but I could believe it.
So he owned the building, I think, at one point, if I'm
Right.
not mistaken. And so he would control concerts and everything and stuff. So during the summer one year, there was a couple of concerts coming through, and it was hot. It was like a heat wave, whatever year it was. I don't know what year it was. And he turned the air conditioning off and then jacked up soda prices by like $2. And at the time, that was huge. And he raked in soda money, but because he manipulated
And he saved
the
on
bill.
air conditioning.
And he saved on air
What
conditioning.
a
Double.
jerk.
I know, right?
What a jerk.
What a jerk. And it
I
was
hate
for-
the Leafs forever now just because of
Just
that.
because
That
of
was
him.
associated
Well,
with your organization.
That exactly.
You happy about that?
Well, if they made changes with Dan Snyder, I might reconsider. But I think there's some sort of Harold Ballard curse, I swear, on the Maple Leafs for how poorly he ran that team
And treated people?
I mean, I'm trying to think of. I can't remember the exact years Harold Ballard was the owner. I don't know if somebody's going to comment here and
Could fire up the
mention it.
Googlio machine. Yeah.
You could. Are you doing that? Either way, I know. I don't know if they were all that bad even during that era. I don't know if he was during the last Stanley Cup era, like the 60s, or was he into the 70s?
Okay,
when they
well, I'm
were
looking
bad?
up Wikipedia, so we'll see.
You got it coming up?
Okay.
We got some Americans tuning in here, by the way.
1903
Nick
to
Grimm and Jacob
1990.
Naval. They're chanting USA in the comments because of the World Junior Talks.
Nice. Senior
Trey
executive.
Parker
He
and
became
Matt
the
Stone, by the way.
Nice. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Are
South
the-
Park guys. Yeah.
Yeah, South Park
I've
guys.
never watched South Park.
No?
Not even one time.
Really?
I think I've seen a couple clips on YouTube. It's just, I don't know. It's
I've
never been my
definitely
thing.
seen some. There's some classic episodes.
He became part owner of the team in 1961 and was majority owner from February 1972 until his death.
Okay, so
he
he
was
was
also
there-
the owner of the Hamilton Tiger Cats
Right.
of the Canadian Football League for 10 years, winning a Grey Cup championship in 1986. He was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1977 and the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in 1987 and treated people like shit.
Yeah. I think there's also, now, maybe there's a CFL historian watching right now or somebody who remembers. I know it's late in the show, so I think we've lost a few people.
Probably.
But he did something, like he put the Leafs logo at center field or something during a Tiger Cats game or something.
It's just good marketing.
I don't know, man.
Maybe the Tiger Cats should do something similar.
Honestly,
I don't know.
Steve Dangle podcast did a couple of deep dives into the Harold Ballard era, and
Yeah.
it is ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
a gong show.
I'd like them to almost make those. Remember like the Don Cherry story and the Gordie Howe story,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the CBC movies
Yeah.
that they did. They were actually quite good.
There might be one.
I would like to see a Harold Ballard one.
There should be one coming out.
I think it would just be very
Kim Coates
controversial.
should be in it now.
Yeah,
and,
exactly. Just something,
Jay
right?
Baruchel should
Oh,
write it
yeah.
because he could make fun of
Just
the
bring
Leafs.
back the cast
I know
of
he's a
Goon.
Canadians fan.
The cast
I
of
guess
Goon.
I just did that.
Yeah,
didn't I?
you did do that.
Sean William Scott.
Didn't
could
think
be
I'd
in it.
catch that, but I did.
Anyways.
the EU Olympics. All righty, moving on. I'd take the Bills.
You got the Bills? Okay.
Bills over the Panthers.
what
So
are we
that's our
doing?
second
NFL
pick.
picks? Okay.
Jordan's back there. Jordan,
Guys, hurry up.
we apologize. We're horrible.
Sorry,
people.
Jordan.
We are Harold Ballarding Jordan right now.
Basically, more
right
or
this
less.
minute. Jordan, I'll buy your soda though.
You will?
No.
That's a nice gesture.
$5.
I'll go. Ooh. I'm gonna go Buccaneers over the Saints.
I was hoping that one would slide one more. But doesn't Tom struggle with the Saints? The Saints already beat
It's at
the
home
Bucs once
though.
this year.
They're rolling okay. I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna go with them. I'm not super pumped about who the Saints are right now. Like the team, they're kind of my up and down Katy Perry team of the week.
Oh my god,
that's a new slogan. My Katy Perry team of the week.
Who's your Katy Perry team of the week, Clark? Like we needed to add another
Saints.
segment. Jordan's like,
and since they got Kevin James as the coach now, Sean Payton.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that trailer. People go watch the trailer for Home Team. You'll die. Like you'll wonder how
What's it about?
It's about when Sean Payton was suspended for that year because of his I guess his involvement in Bountygate. Remember when he like paid players to like go intentionally hurt people
that, and they got Kevin James to play him.
Yeah, Kevin James to play, and it's like you saw the trailer, didn't you? Like the full 2-minute trailer.
I saw a picture of it.
You saw a picture. You haven't seen the
screenshot.
trailer.
I haven't seen the trailer.
Okay, gotcha. Well, we're watching the trailer.
Yeah, we
after
gotta
the
watch
show.
the trailer.
You're gonna be like, how did Sean Payton ever give his approval to do
There's
this?
like 30 guys I can think of that would be better Sean Paytons.
Well, it's not even that. It's like. It's a farce movie. It's not like what we're about to see with the Kurt Warner.
Oh, it's a straight up joke.
Well, when you see the trailer, you'll believe it. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
you'll wonder.
What are we doing? NFL picks.
NFL picks.
You're
yeah.
up.
So Buccaneers.
Sorry, Jordan.
So you got the Bucs
again.
We are terrible.
I got the Bucs.
I think I saw the Niners playing the Falcons. Niners have to win this week to stay in the thick of the playoff race. So I'm taking the Niners. As much as I hate that, because my good buddy Brad Senko and me have a bit of a tit for tat back and forth. I hate the Niners. I just hate him.
I hear you.
I love George Kittle. I hate the Niners.
I've heard you say that in the past.
I love George Kittle. He's best friends with Philip Forsberg. Did you know?
I'm a little surprised. I know that there's COVID issues, but I'm going to take your Rams over the Seahawks. I know there's issues, but I'm going to take your Rams on this one. They just beat the Cardinals.
After last night, I should be a little bit more on the boys' wagon.
Did they beat the Cardinals with COVID issues, or were the COVID issues?
Oh, no, they did. Yeah, Darrell Henderson was out. Higbee was out. Jalen Ramsey was out due to COVID. Now OBJ's on the COVID list. Darrell Henderson still hasn't come off it. Neither is Higbee. Like, they might be missing 7-8 starters. Like, it's...
Craig Ballard
Matt Stafford had to return to his Detroit days and
Craig
do it all
Ballard,
himself
not related to Harold Ballard. Just text. I don't think he's related to Harold Ballard. Great job with chicken strip. Nope, my bad. Chicken strip loin.
Nice.
So thank you, Craig.
You did do good with that.
You're up.
Oh, this. Why would I do this
and
to
then
myself?
It's the battle game.
Why
Last
would I
pick
make a
game.
hard game of this one? The Colts and Patriots are both coming off a bye week. That's my game of the week.
You're doing it to yourself.
Personally, that's my game of the week in terms of like just sitting down to watch it on Saturday night, 7:20. Like it's going to be a great football game.
Saturday.
Also, yeah, because now it's every team's done their bye, so it's the holiday season of football. So now it's Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. What a time to be alive! What is the Monday nighter, by the way?
Not a good
Bears
one.
and
It's
Vikings.
Bears. 2 Katy Perry's teams of the weeks.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so Chad Isaac, if you're watching, if you're listening,
I don't think he is. We're down.
I'm not sold on the Bengals. I'm really not. But they did put up a pretty good fight against the Niners last week. I think they're going to beat the Broncos.
Okay.
I think they're going to beat the Broncos. So I'm going to take the Patriots over the Colts.
There is one game that I'm a little surprised neither of us chose, and that is Titans-Steelers. Nobody
I'm really surprised by that, though.
Nobody wanted the Titans?
Because if you look at the Steelers, they've had a couple of really bad starts, but they've found a way to get back in these games, right?
They battle.
Like, they were down to the Vikings 29-0, made that an 8-point football game. They were down to the Chargers big. They scored like 23 points in the last quarter to almost push that game to overtime. Like, it's... The Steelers I'm nervous on. I'm nervous to pick them to win, but I'm also nervous that, like, you know, when I pick them to lose, they'll find a way to win. So
I hear you. Battle game of the week is Texans-Jags, and I get to pick.
Yeah, yuck.
I'm going to go Jags.
Okay.
Simply because they're home team.
Okay.
Matias Bueno.
Okay.
Shout out to Matias. I'm going Duval.
I actually have to find the logo. Now, you want to talk about a guy that sucks to cheer for is Urban Meyer.
Yep.
And I think Matias will agree. All right, I got the Texans.
I'm going. Yeah, I got to go Jags.
All right, let's make like a Christmas present and wrap this thing up.
Okay. I was going to tell you a score update in the NHL because I just saw a report that
it's too early in the night to care.
Ottawa Senators beat the Florida Panthers 8-2 tonight.
Decent.
Yeah. I don't have any Senators.
Did I start
I picked
Drake
up a couple
Batherson
Senators, actually.
I really hope
fantasy.
I started Drake Batherson.
I think I started Josh Norris.
Yikes.
So that's good.
Ooh, another Rams notification.
Flyers beat the Devils 6-1.
Yikes.
Penguins beat the Habs 5-2. And every other game is pretty close. There you go.
It's Trivia
There's your
Tuesday
update.
notification.
There's your update. All right, we're going to wrap it up. That's going to do it. Now, here's an update for you, for anybody who's still watching before we take off. This is our last regular in-studio show for now. It's not forever, but for now, for the foreseeable future. We're going into the Christmas break. We're also jumping into our relationship with the Hockey Podcast Network, which is super fun. So we're going to be jumping into a few live streams, and we're going to be doing that from home. For now, again,
I'm heading back to school to prove that I'm not a fool.
We might do some special episodes where Jordan hooks us up with a cool setup.
Yep.
And we'll do some cool streams where we're maybe at a location of some kind. But for the most part, we're going to be doing some streams from home. We're going to transition the show into our home setups.
Yep.
We'll probably start the show later on Tuesday nights, just to allow Max. Again, he said he's going to school. He's going to have a busy semester from January to April.
End of April, yeah.
End of April.
Hopefully
So
start of baseball season.
probably until at least into April, into May. We're probably going to be doing that setup for a while. We might do the odd special show or something. We'll see. But for the time being, that's kind of the plan. Again, it's going to be later Tuesday evenings. We're going to try to keep doing the show on Tuesdays.
We're going to try to keep it under 2 hours. Watch this. Our first episode is going to be like an hour and 15 minutes on StreamYard, and Jordan's just going
to shake his head.
I hate you
But that's kind of
so
the
much.
update. So for the next 4 or 5 months, next week, we are going to be doing a show from home, I believe, right? 21st, Tuesday.
Well, if you...
We'll
already committed the guest.
Yeah,
so
I guess
hopefully
Joel
he's
Henderson,
available.
you're in.
If there's no Joel, I'm out.
Okay.
I can't talk World Juniors like
we'll do
Joel
a little
can.
World Juniors. We'll bring in Joel and maybe another special guest. I'll see what I have up my sleeve. Until then, we're going to be doing some live streams. Check out the Hockey Podcast Network. I think we have one coming up on Sunday night, Leafs Kraken. Hopefully games are being played by Sunday and they're not all canceled. That'd be great.
That'd be great.
And then we're going to probably the week of the 28th, I guess, is the show after that. We're going to have a special announcement that we'll announce just when we make sure that it's going to happen.
100%.
And then after that, again, it'll be in January, and we'll start doing our shows from home with Max's new schedule. So that's an update.
Want to know a weird thing that happened tonight?
Yeah, I think so. And then we'll get out of here.
The Ottawa Senators won 8-2.
Yes.
You already said that.
Yeah.
Brady Tkachuk,
No points
0 points.
at all? Not even one?
Not even one in
Yikes.
15 minutes
Was he a
of
minus
ice time.
2? Was he on the ice for both goals?
I don't know.
Doesn't say.
It doesn't say. No, he was a +3 and factored into no
okay.
points.
Interesting. He's probably like the third assist.
And
on a
also,
bunch
too,
of
I
goals.
guess because we suck at our part-time jobs here, Ben Bishop had to retire. That was kind of big news.
Right. Yep. that happened.
yeah.
And Anton Khudobin passed waivers. He cleared.
Dallas
Nobody claimed
goaltending
him.
situation. It's almost like
Crazy.
we should have put it at the top of the order.
Yeah, we're going to go another
Sorry,
20
Robin
minutes.
Wildy, we blew it. Good night, everybody.
Anyways, we'll say goodnight for now, and we'll see you next Tuesday with a different look. Until then, we'll see you on the social media channels and on the Hockey Podcast Network as well.
Take care, everybody.
Take care, and we'll see you next week in some form or fashion.